Anyways, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for what I've been calling the Beyonder RPG one-shot supergroup.
Yes.
We haven't done anything like this before, but thanks to the D&D Live event,
Weekend extravaganza.
we were able to meet several people. So first, I want to say thank you to our guest players. We'll start at the... Well, let me look at what the stream looks like so I can reference. The top left with Eoghan from How We Roll. Introduce yourself real quick.
Hi guys, I'm Eoghan from How We Roll, creator of the show, one of the players. We're Call of Cthulhu and D&D podcast. You can find us everywhere you find podcasts.
Wonderful.
And I'm playing... Are we interested in characters? Should I go with characters?
Sure. Yeah, let's start it. Let's start with there.
I'm playing Borba, the Ushen Mystic.
Perfect.
I'm not entirely sure what that means, but we'll find out.
Also joining us is Renee. Renee, hello. Thank you for being here.
Hi, character name is a thing I had forgotten about and just now painfully remembered. So,
You'll be inspired.
I've got the fantasy generator. I've got a fantasy generator name opened. I just pulled it from right now as we spoke. If you want to.
No, yeah, that's brilliant. PM me a random name that you pick. I'll just go with it. Why not? Hi, I'm Renee. I am from Fate and the Fable Maidens podcast, which is family-friendly actual play, and I will be playing Zogla.
Yes,
That's a great name.
Thank you, Owen. That is fantastic. I am a Wellan Umbrist, and we will also be discovering what that means today.
Also joining us is Josh.
Hello, how's it going? I am Josh Peru. I am from the Taking Initiative podcast, and I will today be playing a character who's an Ashiri evoker named Bill.
Yes.
Nice.
Jennifer, please introduce yourself.
Oh, hi. I am Jennifer from Greetings Adventures, and I am playing Indira, the Zwaygen Charismatic, and I'm a fish person. This is actually when we were walking around PAX Unplugged when we saw Beyonder. I was like, I love the fish person.
Yeah.
So it worked out very well that I got to play this character.
Yeah. And I'm Tim, also from Greetings Adventurers, formerly Drunks and Dragons.
Formerly Drunks and Dragons. This is still very new. I almost tripped over it when I said
and I'm playing Samantha Shatterscale, the I believe Kron Soman. Is that correct? Kron Soman.
Yes.
You're such a Samantha.
I have a real S theme. I'm essentially a snake person. I'm not going to do the hard S thing. It's not there. But most importantly, we are joined by Jacob from the Beyonder team from Flying Nightbear Games. Jacob, thank you so much for agreeing to run us through this fun one-shot.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you guys for coming out to play. It is going to be such a pleasure to run game for you guys.
Yeah. Jacob and I previously chatted on ye old YouTube about sort of like the back...
YouTube?
I guess it was on Twitch, but it's on YouTube now.
Okay. Oh, I see what you mean. I thought you were like chatting in the comments on YouTube, and I'm like,
yeah, we met on Chill Beats to study and relax to. And we just had a dialogue.
I was actually the girl with the headphones and the cat. That was me. Yeah.
The original Chill Beats girl.
Yeah, but as Jennifer said, we were at PAX Unplugged last year, looking at all the wares, and then we saw Beyonder's varied and interesting character art, which, if you're a tabletop creator, that's apparently a very good way to snatch people's focus, is having, look how interesting the player races are.
Yeah.
So we got to chatting there, and then Jacob and I chatted about Beyonder a couple months ago, and we've been meaning to do this since February?
Yeah, for a bit.
Yeah.
A good bit. Yeah.
Scheduling is hard.
It's hard. It's my fault.
Yeah.
It's not Jacob's fault. It's my fault. But we were like, F it, let's get some of our new best friends that we met at D&D Live, and let's just do it, you know what I'm saying? So Jacob, please tell us more about Beyonder, and then I guess it's a start?
Yeah.
You run the show now.
So, it's exciting. So this is my first time running over the internet at all, let alone like
fun.
streaming games. So
it's weird.
It's very different. Well, for us, we mostly play over internet, so when we play in person, it feels really weird.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
I'm in my comfort zone right now. But I hope that that you enjoy it.
You'll be running the podcast in no time, Jacob. So we all started.
Okay.
The GM is caught off guard. That's good for us, the
That's
players.
true.
Yeah,
That is.
gives you an advantage.
Obviously, we're enemies and so forth.
Ready to jump on that.
Yeah. Inside of weakness.
So let me start off by giving you guys a little bit of overview about the world. Then I'll give a little bit about the system. Generally, the way I run the game is system is pretty different from a lot of stuff out there, as is the world. So I give the world overview we need to start the game, and then I'll just fill you in on system stuff as it becomes necessary. So you are playing in the world on the planet called Etham on the continent of Tamara. Beyonder is a science fantasy RPG, so you are all going to be part of the guilds. The guilds are basically a fantasy version of, it's kind of like Starfleet. So they're exploratory, they're humanitarian. They don't have like a military branch explicitly, although there is a little bit of military stuff just to defend their
You gotta be able to
interests.
do your away missions and stuff, so
Yeah, exactly. And you do only stay on the one planet for now.
For now.
So, one of the myriad divisions of the guild is the division of the division of Fextoanatomical Geoanatomic Surveys and Research, the DGFSR, which people usually call just Geo.
Perfect.
Thank
you.
God.
Christ. Before the show started, I was having such a hard time with Owen's name that
he was already used all his stress for that.
I wrote it down 4 times. I'm gonna put stars next to it.
So, much like things in our world, like NASA or like the NIH, the guilds, while they are awesome, have their levels of bureaucracy and so forth. Geo is one of many, many guild divisions, and you have recently received funding for the Sojourner 2 mission. After many months and years of preparation, you are going to be launching down into one of Etham's organs. Now, because your planet exists in all 6 of the energies that comprise life in this known universe, it is technically, by some measures, alive. Guild scientists have sort of used that to coin easy to sort of remember names for various important sites on the continent that you're on. So there are hearts, which are areas where the energy is very powerful and readily accessible. There are livers, where toxins are filtered out of the sort of energetic flow of the planet. You are about to descend into what is called Etham's lung, Etham's one and only known lung. And there's no real reason to call it that except that it is a giant pocket of air at the bottom of the Keleth Sea.
Okay.
Got it.
So, yes, that is the background. And you 5 are the best of the best of the best of all of the interns that applied for this position. So,
It's intern season right now.
pat yourself on the back.
So it's unpaid, okay.
All right.
On the job
Really
training.
Paid an experience. It looks great on your resume, though.
Yeah.
So,
I'm stealing lots of office supplies.
that's jam and
Yeah,
intake.
all the rope on my character
Instant
sheet
noodles.
is
So, you are all inside a large, maybe 20-foot diameter sphere of what looks like stone. The air is a little bit stale, a little bit musty, and the air around you is filled with the excited whisper of conversation. You are in the diving bell, which is descending right now below the surface of the Keleth Ocean. So you actually see, as the sphere fades into transparency, you see the water begin to swallow you up and the light begin to fade above you, going from this bright, bright, sunny day light to the dim illumination of maybe 100 feet underwater and continuing to fade into blackness as you descend further. You look around and you see each of you are strapped into a sort of small harness fitted out exactly for your character on the side of the sphere. Around you are the other 20 or so members of the team who will be descending inside. On one side, you notice a fiery, red-haired human man named Koth. You know that he is the guild mnemonic, who is accompanying this expedition. So he is a member of the Mentarch's Guild that specializes in recording events. So everything he sees from this moment on, everything he experiences, he will record. He'll later be able to offload that into storage devices in the guild archives.
Okay.
He is also able to copy memories from other members of the expedition. So if you see something interesting, you can go to him, and he'll just kind of take it from your head for record keeping.
Nice.
On the other side of the sphere is a tall, scaly Kron whose name is Josier. You know very little about him. Besides that, you've heard whispers around the camp that he is one of the guild's enforcers, which are the sort of one paramilitary branch of the guilds. There are only 30 of them on the continent, 5 from each guild, and they're all very dangerous. And he certainly looks scary and dangerous. So as you
We went to high school together.
Yes.
But I was in like 6th grade. And he was in, 12th grade.
Yeah.
And he
Played a lot of
soccer,
football.
and I
Yeah.
thought, I still, like, my memory, as I don't know if this happens to y'all, but I was just thinking about today, when I think about the seniors, when I was in 9th grade, I still think they're 9 feet tall.
Yes. Like, they're fully adults.
Yeah.
It's like, no, actually, they're babies.
So, as you continue to descend, a small Dwahili, who's sort of in the midst of your group, who are all sort of in the same little interval on the wall, sort of looks around, looks at all of you. You can see she has these very intricate sort of hexagonal tattoos, like interlocking all over her left arm and beginning to like crawl up onto the side of her face, and some beautiful line work just going down sort of the right side of her chest. She says, "Oh, well, this is certainly exciting, isn't it? I'm Silix. You probably already know that. I've been the expedition leader for a couple months now. It's just so exciting to get to this point. Well, I don't think I know you, though. Why don't you tell me your names?"
I'm Zagla.
Hi, I'm Bill.
Bill, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Zagla.
Well,
Wow. And what about you three? I haven't gotten to meet all the new interns yet.
Oh, my name's Indira.
Indira? Okay.
Samantha.
Not new interns, best interns.
Obviously.
Samantha.
And she kind of gives this like happy chuckle. Samantha? Okay.
I'm Borba.
Borba, wow. Well, I am very excited to have you all with me. Are you excited?
yeah, this should be a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah.
We've been training for this.
Oops.
Oh, yeah.
Motorcycle outside.
That's my excitement cheer.
Woo!
Finally
Well-
a chance to prove myself.
Yeah.
Vroom!
Just make sure to be careful. Science is fun, but it's also dangerous.
What's the worst that can
true.
happen down here, right?
As you say that, the sphere sort of like jostles a little bit. You all shake when you're sort of mooring.
I'm deeply afraid of the water.
I love it here.
Me too. It's okay.
I feel right at home.
So the sphere continues to descend down. After another 10 or so minutes of, quiet conversation or lack thereof, depending on your temperament, you see a small pinprick of gray beginning to grow below you. As it grows wider and wider, you see that this is actually the floor of the ocean, the floor of the lung.
Ooh.
And as you grow closer, you see a shimmering, sort of translucent bubble doming up from the ground. The sphere begins to slow as it reaches the top of the bubble, and Silix takes a small white stone from inside a pouch. She says to everyone, "Okay, everybody, hold on. This might be a little rough as we change media." She holds the stone up to her mouth, whispers a few things, and the sphere sort of slows as you approach this membrane, and then dips a little bit through, and then there's a jostle as it abruptly sucks down inside. I want everyone to make an athletics check.
Okay, and we roll
Oh,
2d10.
Yes. So roll 2d10, and the second sheet of your character sheet has your talent modifiers. Just add your athletics.
Oh no, mine's -2.
I'm strong, but I'm bad at athletics.
Bill got a 10.
All right.
So I rolled a 10 and a 1, so that's an 11.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
19 with my modifier.
Nice.
Got a
8.
I got a 4.
All right. So, and Renee?
An 8.
An 8? All right.
Yeah.
That's not bad. So, let's say Tim and Josh and Owen, you guys all sort of like grab onto your little harnesses as you buck a little bit. It's a little bit of turbulence, but nothing big. Jennifer, you sort of are caught a little bit unawares and smack your head against the back of the sphere.
Yeah,
So just take 1 fatigue for me.
Okay.
Zolga, you are Zagla, you're caught very off guard by this, and you've just been so captivated by like observing the ocean around you and thinking how like wonderful it is to be so like immersed in sort of this home territory for you. You just like straight up whip your head to the side and manage to like smack your head against one of the little metal fixings. So take a wound for me.
Zogla, you all right? That was quite a whiplash you had there.
Ow.
Yeah, that looks like an owl. Yeah.
So if you look on the second page of your sheets, you'll see wounds and fatigue.
Yeah.
So just cross off one little guy in the top left corner.
I see.
If you've taken one.
I'm dumb. Yeah,
That's
that makes
cool.
sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what's
yeah.
1, 6, 11? Then I realized the bubbles.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so in Beyonder, the way the system works is every character has an equal number of wounds and fatigue. It's a little bit more gritty, low heroic. And, you know, what changes is how much you take from a given source of damage rather than how many hit points or whatever you have.
Okay.
So you descend further down into the sphere and the bubble, the lung, and the sphere hovers about a foot off the ground. Silix takes the stone, whispers something into it, and the sphere, a like little seam appears in one side of the sphere where nobody is strapped into the wall, and then these 2 doors open almost soundlessly. As they do, the smell of sort of dank cave smell and a little bit of salt brine reaches your nose. You can feel the sort of dampness of the air against your skin. It feels, to some of you, maybe a little uncomfortable. To some of you, perhaps even welcoming. Yes. The sound of buckles clicking begins to fill the air as everyone begins to file out. And you all pour out onto the floor of the lung, everybody going about their tasks, setting up various tents, setting up the equipment that you're going to use to measure things. You 5 specifically, Silix approaches you and says, well, after the setup's done, we don't really have any tasks on schedule for you besides maintenance. But she flicks her head over to the side, and you notice there is an enormous marblin lying on the floor of this lung.
What's a
marblin? It's very similar to a squid.
Oh,
It's
cool.
the largest creature with tentacles. You kind of missed it on the way down because you were so distracted by the prep.
Uh-huh.
But you can see now this thing is huge. It looks like maybe half a mile long. She says, that looks pretty damn cool. So if you want to check that out, feel free to take some of the measuring equipment. I know you have some basic kit on you. Otherwise, just stay out of trouble. And I'm going to
crack my
go...
knuckles and we will fight this marblin.
No, I don't know if we're supposed to fight it. I think we're just-
Yeah, I think it's dead. But yeah, you can, if you want to
I'm
do
victorious.
that, you can fight the marblin. I'd be careful of your hands, though. They're pretty big. It's very big. You
big.
might hurt yourself. Okay.
Punch it.
She just sort of
I'll
like
measure its punctitude.
pinches your cheek. She
Why are we
like
punching dead things? I don't. Why?
she just like looks up at you, who are like probably about 7 or 8 feet tall to her 2 or 3. She manages to look somehow like maternal and a little bit like, that's nice.
She has extreme like teacher energy that even though they're all
yes.
5 foot even, they're somehow
Mhm.
tower above you.
Yes.
Yes,
Why am I talking about high
exactly.
school so much? I've
You-
been
yeah,
having a
you're
lot
in
of
a high
weird
school
dreams
mood.
recently.
Yeah.
Actually.
You want to talk about something?
I
I
do,
do,
actually. How it
actually.
shakes out.
I finished up a
I'm
terrible.
here. I'm going through a weird time.
So she bustles off to the sort of center of the area that is emerging as the tents are set up. you see Josier kind of stand next to her, or walk up to stand next to her, and Koth joins them as well as a few other more senior members of the expedition. At this point, you see Josier sort of compose himself, stand up straight, closes his eyes, and as his head raises and he opens his eyes, you see they've turned completely scarlet. Ooh. And these scarlet tears begin to leak down his face, slowly dripping from his chin as they fall. This is what you guys are all familiar with from your training in the guilds. This is what is called your mark. So every different person in the world, every channel has a different physical manifestation of that occurs when they activate their powers. So it could be something like this, that's like visual. It could be your scales or fur change color. It could be a feeling of cold in the air around you, or maybe people feel this sense of like wonder. You all get to choose what your mark is. So think about that while we continue forward.
Cool.
Is that what the document was talking about with like everyone, when they use their power, it's an obvious thing? Is that kind of what it's hinting at?
Yes, and also the fact that activating a power in itself is a very obvious thing. You cannot do it subtly.
Got it.
Cool.
So as Josier begins to cry these tears, he moves his hands a bit through the air, speaks a few words. You can see him sort of concentrating on that same sort of... the way you channel is you generally memorize and drill these certain ways that you bring the energy through yourself into the world. Mm-hmm. It's very practiced, it's very precise, and that is, you can see that Josier is doing that right now. As he does this, these 6 scarlet ribbons sprout out of each of his palms. 3 from each palm scoop up some of the nearby people, including Silix and Koth, and the other senior members of the expedition. The other 3 plant into the pumice-like bluish-gray stone beneath you. And as soon as they're there, they begin galloping, pulling them forward, almost spider running them across the surface of the lung towards the far side. The lung, for reference, seems to be about 10 by 15 miles. It's a rough oval shape.
Okay.
You have landed far towards one of the sort of points, and they're heading to the other side.
That's rad.
That's pretty cool. I was thinking these would be a bit dramatic to get to the other side of the room, but it's not quite a room. I was like, this is really extra for us going across the football pitch.
Your car. Blood.
I would have just walked, personally.
So, what do you wish to do? For reference, you each have measurement and sample taking kits.
Okay.
So you have many strips of what are called easel. Easel is basically litmus paper. So if you rub a strip of easel against a surface, each strip is keyed to a certain energy, and it will turn a color based on however much of that energy is present in the surface that you rub it on. You also have, the standard like vials, pouches, scalpels, hammers, chisels, all that sort of stuff.
So mainly right now we have been, I guess not instructed, but it was suggested to us to check out the squid creature.
Yeah.
So maybe we should try that initially and see what happens.
Do you say that in character?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I will lead the way.
Yeah, Zagla is just like trotting after Samantha and like looking up and smiling, waiting to see what happens.
I have like laser focus forward.
Like as you guys check out the squid thing, I'm going to look around for like any plants, vegetation, that kind of thing, because I'm what energy is the life energy? Is it as a mystic?
That's a spirit energy.
Spirit energy. Sorry. So like that's kind of my shtick. Growing plants and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to see, is there anything growing, whatever, 20,000 leagues under the sea, or wherever we are. But in the general area where they're checking out the squid, what's this? Okay. Marblin thing?
Marblin.
Yeah. Can I ask a question about the character sheet real quick?
Sure.
On the left, in the talent proficiencies, I have leadership, and then I have proficiency animals. Does that mean I lead animals, or are those 2 separate columns of... ideas? Is it like leadership with a specialty in animals, or is it just like is that 2 separate things?
Oh, so leadership is the name of the talent itself. Mm-hmm. Animals is the proficiency.
Okay.
So proficiencies are basically every like certain number of ranks you level up a talent, you get a free proficiency, and whenever you're using the talent in that specific instance, you get a +2 bonus.
Oh, okay.
So while they're doing that as well, Bill's going to go, I'm going to go check out the walls and stuff because the stones here are really interesting. And since we didn't really go over what the different like races look like,
We probably should do that. I was thinking the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna Shiri, which is kind of. I looked at him like, oh, like Korg from Thor.
Yes.
Kind of like
Very much like
stony
that.
skin, blends in well to some things. If Morgan was here, I was gonna like steal her voice to do Korg's voice, but I can't, so we're stuck with Bill. But yeah, he's really kind of cool and solid looking. So he's gonna waltz on over to the different walls and kind of use some tools to get some samples.
Samantha is a 7 foot tall-ish snake person.
It's very good.
I'm also about a 7 foot tall, like bull person, Ushen. So kind of a mysticky type, interested, not quite super smart, but like really leadership driven, kind of more about doing things the right way. So that's the Ushen.
Jennifer, what are you?
So I am. Can you scroll down? to the
Yes.
page? Sorry, I'm a Zwaygen. So as I said earlier, I'm a hot fish person.
So,
I've got so many
A hot,
abs.
cold-blooded fish person.
I've got a lot of abs, and I've got a lot of like
A lot of
fishy
abs.
fins. and
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
I'm muscular, but like lithe.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And Renee, what are
A
you?
jacked fish.
I am a Wellan, and I am 2.5 feet tall. And so I look like a little cat. But very, very thin. And I've got a tail, and I look up to all of you.
Literally.
Yeah,
How
you
does
really
a fish
are
person
very
cat
small.
Oh my god, we're all big.
We're all so big.
And you're so small.
That's amazing. Yeah, Wellan are like 60% cat, 30% monkey, 10% something else. So
The perfect creature.
very good. I love
the
it.
perfect ratio.
They also look sort of like who's.
They do actually. That's
10% who? There you go.
10% who. Okay, so Bill, you were saying you wanted to check out the walls. So as you look around, the one thing you can notice about this place on first inspection is it is remarkably flat. Looking down on the floor, it is not like a perfect plane, like a perfectly smooth plane, but there doesn't seem to be any sort of obstruction anywhere in sight. As you look like over down to the other side of the lung, you can actually still see Josier and the rest of the party tramping along in the sort of mid-distance, churning up a little bit of dust and like rock fleck. There is plenty of floor to inspect, though.
Is there any thought that there are other creatures here, or is it? Well, I guess other than the dead one currently in front of us, or I guess any other sentient creatures.
I would like to
here?
do a perception check.
Okay.
A roll or
And-
whatever y'all say. Oopsies. I'm using one of the percentile die, so I'm like, I got a 39. No, I got a 12 plus 5, so 17 for my perception.
Nice. And what exactly are you looking for?
I'm just kind of scoping the area. I think I'm kind of going to lean into the warlike nature of the Kron, and so I want to make sure that we're safe. When you said Star Trek, Jennifer's been watching Star Trek.
I've been watching a lot of Star Trek recently.
So yeah,
Good,
I think
good.
I want to protect my new intern friends. So yeah, I'm just kind of scoping it out for potential threats, for weak points, for any potential dangers and things of that nature. But also,
Maybe what killed the Marlin, maybe? Just
I think
creature.
that's going to be part of it. Thank you. What, Borba?
Borba, yeah.
Thanks,
Hi.
Borba.
We got my shakes hand. Do you have a hand? You're a fish or a snake person?
As I have instead of having a tail, I have 2 legs,
and you got arms too.
and I got
right?
arms. I wanted
It's just a big snake head.
Yeah, I wanted to joke and say I don't have legs, I have 2 tails, and for arms, I have feet. But I did not want to do that to our guest GM here. But no, yeah, I'm just a snake person. Arms, legs, yada, yada, yada.
So, also, I put a link to the website where we have the pictures of all the 10 races in the chat. So, you guys can feel free to check it out. There's pictures of like the Kron and other stuff there.
Perfect.
I
Okay.
just went and found out that Zagla is also a green cat monkey who person. So that's great.
Even better.
Yeah,
Even better.
The fun does not stop here.
Yeah, I think Samantha is like, I'm thinking like a sort of like a white snake
Okay.
with
You got some like gold or something.
I was gonna say red, but I think gold's prettier with like some gold highlights in various parts. White Snake, cool band.
White Snake.
I cannot tell you one single song by them, but it exists.
Yeah, and I feel like Indira definitely has like a really pretty like beta fish vibe, like purpley pink situation.
All right. Does anybody else want to?
We're
go into more
really
That's my
detail?
favorite part.
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah,
I'm
Jacob,
very
you
much
do
a
your
Cowman,
thing.
you
We're over
picture.
here in fashion corner.
I like
Isn't this the point of the game?
climbing and trees.
Just spend the next hour creating a Tinder profile.
Like, we did. Welcome to Yonder, everyone. Thank you so much.
Isn't that why everyone plays RPG?
So-
Oh yeah.
But secretly, though.
Yeah, character generation always takes 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yep.
Josh, what type of rock man are you?
Just normal igneous rock. It's
nice.
a bit ashy
that
in
real
its
quick.
color.
I know that
Yeah.
one.
So some Ashiri have like geode formations or gems as part of their skin, in the same way we might have like birthmarks or facial hair or something
Okay.
like that. Do you have any of those,
Okay.
maybe?
So since it's, I guess, an igneous rock, which would be around a lot of like extreme heat, we can say that maybe a slight diamond sheen to his body. And then there's one rather large diamond in a place that nobody normally sees.
Well, let's see.
Diamond!
Is
We
it,
can get there.
is it the top of your head?
Right.
Because you're tall?
We'll go with that.
Top of your head?
Yeah, that one's for me.
That's the Beyond or After Dark stream.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's a session 2 tidbit. Third date only.
Oh, Lord.
Owen, do you want to tell us anything?
So like the Ushen are considered like semi-barbaric because they're kind of nomadic, and I very much look like I've been walking around fields all my life. I'm not a pretty boy. I'm a big cow man.
Good.
Got some matted hair.
Spotted, or like one of those cows that have lots of hair.
Oh,
I'm picturing more like a yak. So I've got like really
Yeah.
thick, long horns and like a long kind of. Because I can't grow beard in real life. Let's go with a little chin beard.
Exactly. You know, live your life.
why do we
Yeah.
play RPGs? I can't own a house. But,
We literally did this by accident. One of our most recent episodes is that we described our ideal vacations for like way too long.
So yeah, he's like in long flowing robes. Like it's not unkempt, but it's very much like he just kind of found these lying around, like kind of made of stuff nomadic people would find, like skins and maybe woven cotton and stuff, with a staff, a big huge staff.
Cool.
How does he feel about people swinging from his horns?
I'm okay with them as long as they clean, like keep it clean, keep birds off them. Birds are the bane of my life. Birds landing on my horns.
So, as you look around, Samantha, harkening back to 2 hours ago, as you look around, your sort of threat assessment mode goes on. Before you were one of the
forgot
guild
my name was
interns.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna go. I was gonna close my window. I'm listening.
Join us for session 2 when we leave the submarine and start the game.
So the Kron, actually, the majority of the Kron on the continent live in one of the various Kron kingdoms or empires, which are always sort of in this weird sort of pseudo-expansive state. There's a lot of tension between them and some of the other peoples of the empire sometimes. So you might be from these empires, you might not. But regardless, you still have that sort of combat mindset built in just from your biology.
Yeah, there's something about me that like made me think that I've been around ships more than I forget. I think because I'm good with knots. I only think of knots
Only
as
sailors
ships. I
know
don't
how to
know
tie a
who
knot.
else uses knots other than Tim Lanning doesn't know
People who
who.
climb?
Oh, it could be a spelunker.
Maybe you're a spelunker. You're a
Yeah.
you like to do bouldering.
Yeah, but so just to not be total bouldering, just not to be a total caricature. Yeah, maybe I'm a little less of the warlike, but still have it in me, and
I just imagine you like stalking around, like being like,
Yeah.
"What's up? What's up?"
yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you're like the one people take with you on these expeditions, so they feel safe, even if you're not.
I totally feel like I'm the bodyguard. I'm not going to be doing a lot of the quote-unquote science stuff. I want to make sure they do their stuff good. If they need me to pick up box and move it from there to there, I'm there.
Cool.
I assume
Zoglo feels safe.
Yeah.
Zoglo also wants Samantha to punch the thing.
I will listen to what you guys say. I assume we've probably had hijinks in the past. I've definitely helped Zogla like by picking her up to reach higher situations and things like that.
So, as you look around, the first thing that strikes you is that this seems relatively not necessarily safe, but you're going to have a lot of warning before anything attacks you. There's so much empty space here, and there's so little to hide behind. The thought occurs to you that it's possible that something could come up from under the ground. Looking down, you don't see any evidence of like burrowing or tunneling. This isn't soft earth. It's very... Not only is it hard rock, but it's very sort of brittle-looking rock. Okay. And it seems like any break through it would fracture a lot and leave a lot of evidence.
Gotcha.
Which you don't see
we're like from the desert or whatever, so it doesn't say I have proficiency in sand, but I got proficiency in sand. I'm like Anakin.
Samantha knows her sand.
It gets everywhere.
And Indira, for asking about living creatures here, why don't you make me a scholarship check? Because you've probably read the logs of the Sojourner 1 expedition. You are the Sojourner 2 expedition.
Oh shit, I didn't even think of to ask about that. That's so ominous.
So, scholarship, is that on... Oh, I see it.
It's one of the talents.
Okay, so that is 17.
17. Okay, so the last expedition that came down here was Sojourner 1. It was an unmanned probe. And the data that it collected did not indicate anything about any life down here.
Okay.
In fact, it indicated a sort of startling absence of living creatures was one of the big findings. There is a lot of physic energy. So normally all the energies are more or less balanced in any given space in the world. In a rock, you're going to find more physic energy. In a living thing, you're going to find more spirit energy. This was like a wellspring of physic energy.
Interesting.
Not a lot of living creatures. Yeah.
But there's a big squid creature here now.
Yeah, seems like.
Does it seem like, do we assume it's dropped from up high? Or like, where did it come from? Should I do a different kind of check for that?
Yeah, you'd have to get closer to really tell anything. It's lying close to the edge.
Okay.
It could have fallen from up top. It could have come in through the side. You're not really sure at this point. So, do you guys continue to head towards it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Indira does, for sure.
Yes, following.
Yes. Okay. So, you walk for, 5 or 10 minutes. It looks close, but that's just because it's big and everything's so flat, it's hard to judge distances here. After, most of a mile of walking, you reach this creature, and you see it really is gigantic. It's probably a couple 100 feet tall, maybe like 500, 600.
What's the light situation down here?
Yes. So the Sojourner probe, the Sojourner 2, like the diving bell that you came in, is actually equipped with sort of physic created or evoker created technology, where you have long ago as a sort of group, the guilds have surpassed the need for like spotlights and things like that. You have devices that can sort of diffuse light into the air around you. So this whole lung is filled with this sort of effervescent soft glow.
Miles of it.
Yeah, miles and miles.
Radical.
That saves me from using an ability. So that's good.
So I have an ability that is sense spirit energy. Am I able to like channel that to sense? Obviously, there's 20 of us or whatever came on the expedition. Can I use that, but exclude those 20 people to see if there's anything else in the area, any life force in the area?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So I roll my magnitude is my bonus to that, is it?
Yeah, there should be a number of bonus to roll also.
Bonus to roll is 3. So is it just the 3, or do you add the magnitude as well?
The bonus to roll includes the magnitude. So
Okay.
just add the bonus to roll.
So as the guys are kind of checking out the Marlin, I'm looking around, trying to sense, is there any plant life, algae, anything as a kind of scientist, even anything bigger other than the 20 expeditionists, I guess.
Sure.
And I got 10 and 14 plus 3 is 17.
Okay, good. So that's going to be... this is a good time to introduce degrees of success. So this is sort of the cornerstone of the system. Basically, whatever you roll, you subtract some threshold from that, or you measure its success against some threshold. So it could be a flat thing. In this case, it could be somebody's defense rating. And then however much you beat it by determines how well you do.
Okay.
So that's going to be a moderate success because you're rolling against a flat DC of 10. You beat it by 7. And so that's in the 6 to 15 range, which is moderate.
Okay.
So what is your mark when you activate this power?
So,
First power mark.
I describe myself as kind of having like a yak. So I've got that kind of long trailing hair kind of around the jawline, kind of ears and chin. All that kind of just raises up, almost like there's a wind blowing upwards. And it appears like I get slightly taller and my horns kind of extend maybe a couple of inches. And just a little intense, but it's only affecting me. It's not like there's an actual physical wind there. It's just everything kind of stands up on me as I channel this power.
So as you channel this power, and you all who are familiar with his sort of usual method of channeling, with Borba's usual method of channeling, see this happen, you reach out and touch on the spirit energy that's ambient in the air around you. You, oddly enough, sense almost nothing. And what's really strange is that when you reach inside the Marlin itself, there's absolutely nothing there. There's not even the sort of ambient background level of spirit energy that usually suffuses the world.
So I've never known anything like this. It's oddly silent, for lack of a term, almost, is it?
Yes. So, this is not something you're overly familiar with.
Okay. Guys, I'm just trying to channel, see what energy, spirit energies in the world, and there's nothing. This Marlin has no residual spirit force in it after dying. There seems to be nothing down here.
What?
I don't know what it means. I've never experienced it, but I've never seen anything like this. And at some point, I'm not going to run over to. Is it what's the memory man guy's name? Koff, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not going to run over to him, but if he happens to pass by, I'm going to relay that to him in some form as well. At some point, it doesn't have to be immediately.
I look up from the rocks and I'm like, do you have any idea of what could cause something like this? Or this is not my specialty. This is your thing. So.
I mean, everywhere I've been in the world, in Joa, from home, everywhere, there's always a hum almost of spirit energy. There's an innate energy in the world. Not even that is down here.
Well, the ocean's a vile place, so that makes sense to me.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Someone has been from here and think it's pretty great.
Well,
yeah, I mean, the ocean, if anything, when I've done this near the ocean, is as loud, if not louder, than the land. There's umpteen creatures in the ocean. It's this is maybe it's part of being a lung. Maybe it's just what happens in lungs. I don't know. I've never been down here before, but it's not. It's weird. It's just weird. That's all I'm saying.
Well, there's supposed to be a lot of physic energy down here, so why don't I try my own sensing as well? See if that comes up as weird. And then I'm going to put my hand towards the ground and do a sense physic energy.
Do some rock stuff.
And what is your mark?
My mark is when I put my hand towards the ground, starting at my fingertips and working up, becomes like a very Tron-esque LED pattern going up. And my entire body has this odd design pattern of a diamond glow.
Very cool. Okay. So, as Bill sort of reaches down to the ground, you see this effect emerge. And why don't you also roll for me for that power piece?
I rolled a 9 plus my bonus to roll is 5, so that's a 14.
Okay. Cool. So that's a minor success. But still, you get a picture of what's going on. You get hit in the face with the amount of physic energy around you. It's just everywhere. It's being in Nishiri, you're familiar with being in sort of rocky places that are very physic heavy. This is even more than that. The physic here doesn't just suffuse the inorganic objects as is normal. it suffuses even the air around you. And as you look up, the entire Marlin before you, or at least large swaths of it, are suffused with that same hard materialistic energy.
Now, is that unusual for a living creature like that,
Yes.
or like dead once living creature?
So, why don't you roll me a scholarship check?
You got it. That's quite good there.
All right.
Scholarship. Proficiency. Hold on. Nope, that has nothing to do with it. That is a 21.
Damn.
Wow. All right. Excellent. So, you know the general balance of all the energies and how they work. So, physic, the external, body, the internal, and like the self. And then spirit, or mental and emotional, are obviously the governing energies of the self. And then spirit is the energy that binds all the others together. Shadow is the one that pushes them apart, that causes dissolution. So normally the process of decomposition of a body, is first the mental and emotional energy immediately disappear, just vanish. Then over a certain amount of time, the physic and body energy are sort of broken down by the shadow energy until there is nothing left. Having this much physic with a still existing body doesn't make any sense. It's almost like it's not organic anymore.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Maybe it was placed here by something, or it's a trap of some kind.
So I look up really quick and my eyes shake off and I'm like, whoa, okay. Well, that was a lot, first off. Second off, you're really, I'm kind of stoned at the moment.
Hey, boo!
Hey.
Expect a lot of that.
A call for Josh.
A large hook comes
Yeah.
off screen.
Pushes out from the stinky dead fish.
I expect that's going to happen a lot. So I look over at the Moblin and I go, not Moblin. I'm sorry. Moblin. I've been playing Zelda a lot.
Yeah.
Marvin.
Can't be mad at that.
I look at the Marvin and go, yeah, that's definitely weird. There's a lot of physic energy instead. I know you were looking for spirit, and this is strange. Either something happened to it in this environment, or I'm gonna, refer to Indira and what she said. Maybe it was placed here.
Would I have like any special insight into what's going on down here, being as that I'm a fish person?
What specific aspect of what's going on?
I guess would it seem normal to me that this large squid creature is here? Like, is this like a thing that I'm like, oh yeah, these are like around?
Marlin's always dying and then losing.
They're always just hanging out.
Classic Marlins.
Yeah, it's like moths to a flame. So actually, you do know, just because you have the basic knowledge of the oceans. One of Etham's wombs is not far off from here.
Okay.
There is a womb like 100 miles or so off the coast. A womb, yes, in the Kellis Sea, where it is likely that a Marlin this large came from. How exactly it came to be here on the ocean floor, you don't know, and it doesn't make a ton of sense to you.
Yeah, guys, this seems really strange to me. I mean, I'm from here. I know a lot about it, but I just don't know why this would be here and why it's not exuding the normal energy that one would expect. Something's not right.
Should I punch it?
I think you should punch it.
Yes.
I punch it.
Yes.
All right, roll an attack. So roll and add your melee combat
That's what I'm
talent.
here for.
First combat.
Boom, 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 boom. Melee
We
combat.
really need to work out that anger problem.
Oh, I'm cool when I do it. So
That's the problem.
Yeah. I'm finally cool after having
So
been
cool.
anxious, but
Samantha's got some issues.
I'm in my element. I got I think a 14. Yeah. So roll a
And you're
9 plus
punching it?
5, and I'm punching it.
Okay. So you step up to this like massive wall of Marlin, and you like
Yeah, and I
kind of
imagine
crack your
Samantha
neck.
is kind of monk-like in her because she has stealth, melee, perception, bad at athletics. That kind of maybe athletics would be a monk. I don't really know. Regardless, I punch it. I feel like
Yeah.
she is lithe in a monk
Yeah.
way.
So you make your fist in a way that sort of comes naturally to you, and you like switch your hips, driving your fist forward into this thing, and you just crack your hand against like the hardest fucking Marlin skin you've ever felt in your life.
Yeah.
Take one wound.
Probably the first hardest Marlin skin. And slight correction, I don't do a fist. I do open hand snake strike. You know what I'm saying?
So you're gonna break your fingers.
like this.
You're
I
saving
do
Break your fingers.
Yeah, it's all broken.
Yeah, that's fine.
How'd that go, bud? Yep.
It's hard to punch.
It's now it's super dead now, right? Like we're no danger now.
Well, I didn't sense any danger from it before, but I
So you just did it to do it.
well, I wanted to see if maybe there's something inside
I
of
mean,
it.
we did egg you on.
I
To be fair.
I almost
It was
broke
not
my-
as fun as I hoped it would be.
I thought maybe
I
we'd
found it pretty
something
fun. I
inside,
found it pretty fun.
like some strange decomposition or
Or like you punch it and like coins would come out.
coins.
Or something.
I don't know. It was a bad idea, and I'm in a lot of pain.
Ow.
Samantha, we have tools that we can use. We don't need your... Don't... Why are you punching things?
Zoglaw told me to.
I did tell her to.
I feel like we should probably revote the leader. Zogloff's made some poor decisions.
So, Bill,
It's a head injury.
And Zogla just has like blood running down her cheek.
Is my what is it? Identify body energy the same idea as of what they're doing?
so identify. It's identify body energy.
Uh-huh.
Or sense. Was it?
Identify.
Oh, okay.
Because the way
So
I'm reading sense
identify-
body energy is a little different.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, identify body energy is more like if somebody uses a body energy ability,
Yeah,
you can identify what it is.
And sense body energy seems sort of like that too. Like if I'm, because it uses the
Sensing-
word barrier.
Yeah,
Like, it's-
sensing body energy is more narrative. It's
Okay.
more like this is the sort of feel you get for the area around you or whatever you're sensing.
Okay.
And Bill, I will say from your 21 earlier, you also noticed that apart from this just being weird and there shouldn't be this much physic in this creature, you did sense a little bit of like it wasn't uniform. It was a little bit not splotchy, but like there was a gradient of what had physic and what did not. That seemed very strange to you.
Would I be able to find potentially an epicenter to where it would be on the body of where's the strongest point?
Potentially. You're gonna have to look around a little bit.
Is there a check for that?
So, considering how huge this thing is, all you can tell is that it's non-uniform from where you are. If you wanted to get more precise measurements, you'd have to go around the thing.
You got it.
We only have like
Yeah.
10 of these strips, so it's like bump.
Does anyone have any of these spider strip like blood eye tricks we can do to like run around this thing quick?
I'm fast.
I can
It's still very
actually...
big.
I have an ability called Fast Feet, which has a unfortunate negative bit, but we're going to ignore that.
For now.
Oh no! Okay.
Yes.
Oh boy.
One shot.
Yeah, but it'll allow the warping of space around a target to be able to increase movement speed.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
I could do that and then go around faster. I'm only going to be able to do it on one person. So either individual. That's not just me. It could be anybody, right?
Anybody, yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Now, to do this kind of search, would it be better for me to do it with a sense physic ability, or would I know of a tool in our toolkit to be able to do that?
So the easel strips would do this. You each have 10 strips that measure, that are physics strips, measure the concentration of physic.
Okay. And can I cast Fast Feet on multiple beings simultaneously? Like just cast it in different increments? Or do I need to concentrate on it?
So that's a really good question. So first, what is the target?
The target is individual.
And the range is what?
Touch 1 yard.
Okay. And what is the activation cost?
6.
Okay. So the activation cost for a power is how much fatigue you take when you use it. The way that fatigue works in the game is that in a narrative sense, we generally hand wave it unless you're in combat or you're spamming an ability. Because for the first row, the first 5 fatigue you fill, every fatigue takes 1 minute to recover. The second row, every fatigue takes 5 minutes, and it increases from there.
Jesus.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So if you use it a bunch in a row without waiting in between, you'll stack up that penalty until you're exhausted.
Yeah. So it's like one of those stats that doesn't matter until it extremely, extremely does type situation.
Yeah, more or less. We generally hand wave it, like I said, outside of combat because we assume you take time before you use your power again.
But in the middle of combat, you can't just infinitely punch forever. You're gonna get tired doing it.
Yes.
So if I would, because I used the sense bit before, if I were to cast this on somebody and have them start to run around and cast it on somebody else and go to run around, I take some time over here and just kind of sit down and litmus test where I am. Mm-hmm. If we grab 5 different spots on this being to help triangulate where it's going to be, would that be a doable thing?
Yes. Would you want to, when you cast on the 2 people, are you waiting in between each or are you casting back to back?
I'll wait 1 minute to give the person a head start, and then I'll do it on the other person.
Okay, so if you do that, you're going to end up with 11 fatigue. The recovery time for that would be about 2 hours.
If I don't do this, for the amount of time it would take to go around this thing, would it be just way too long?
Probably half an hour. Not even half an hour.
Not.
Okay, so and I'll just cast on one person then. Have them go the furthest, and then we'll fan out if you guys are all on board with this plan.
Yeah,
works for me.
Who would like to go fast? I can do that. So
it feels like it definitely feels like the catch should be done.
Anybody else? Anybody? I look down. Zogla, you got it. And then I kind of twist my hand up as you watch the diamond glow, which hasn't fully gone away the first time, comes back again, and I'm going to just put my hand right on your head.
All right, you are now. Yeah, you feel this rush of energy move through you, and what exactly does it do?
Do I need to roll to make sure it works?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
She's going to shoot off from your hand to get the Marlin.
Okay, so that's a 4.
And what's your bonus to roll?
That was including the 1.
Oh. Okay. you all see Bill sort of solemnly approach Zogla. You're like, oh boy. The energy courses through him. He puts his hand down, and there's this little nothing happens.
I'm going to lay it off and go, Zogla, you're faster now. Go to the opposite side. You go real fast. Yep.
Okay. Go fast.
Zogla just takes off running.
Cool.
I'm calling after her. Look how fast she's going. I'm so proud.
She
doing great.
Gets down on all 4s so she can go faster.
There you go.
All right.
That's a thing that Zogla can do.
Yeah. So you start just scampering away down the length of this Marlin.
Bye.
Hi. Hand on Bill's shoulder. Don't worry, buddy. It happens to everyone at a certain age.
I don't know what you're talking to. I crack my rock knuckles. Totally nailed it.
Classic physic energy.
First try.
The opposed energies. There's 6 energies, you said.
Yes.
What manifestation, if it's competition, lack of understanding, camaraderie, is it between the 2 energies? Because I'm a body energy person, and Bill is a physic energy. Do I hate him? Or
no. It's like, do biologists hate physicists?
Yes.
Maybe a little, because they're much cooler. But.
Got it.
But it's a friendly, your field's dumb like this. Oh, your field's dumb like this.
But we're drinking beers and cheersing.
Yeah. Each other
We
really
can all
hard.
agree that astronomers are bullshit or whatever.
Yeah, we need to spend time with biologists so they can grow on you.
Yeah.
Josh, you're my favorite. You're my favorite.
It's
Damn it.
shadow energists are fools and necromancers or whatever. But
Yeah.
got
So
it.
actually, mystics are the necromancers
Ooh,
in this game. Yeah, or undead are very weird in our setting.
Yeah.
Very different. We'll get into that
oh
later.
yeah, you
if guys
talked about
want
that.
to.
That was really cool.
Yeah. So you four are heading down one side, and Zogla, you're heading down the other.
I'm actually gonna
I
try to stay in
guess.
the middle of both of them. I want to kind of like. I still want to be on Overwatch, if that makes sense.
Okay. And
Yeah,
what do you
Zogla
guys?
did not really specify. She just took off.
Yeah.
So if they want to
sure.
go the other direction, they can.
I'm gonna go
Okay.
left with somebody if two people want to go to the right, and then Zogla definitely got the other side handled.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll,
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
probably
yeah.
just go whatever side Zogla doesn't after Zogla just went.
Okay. So Zogla, which direction did you go? Left or right down the Marblin?
Left.
Okay, left. So who is going right, and is anybody staying?
I'm going slightly left, but staying.
Okay, just going like kind of trailing Zogla at an easy pace.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'll make off at a kind of slow, steady pace to the right, I guess. Probably going the furthest past anyone, I assume.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I'll go in that direction as well, but not as far.
Okay. Cool. Great. And Indira.
I have a question. So my character is very like I mess with.
Mess.
I deal with people's emotions a lot. So what do I have to offer in this situation? Like, do I be like, go team, and like make them feel good about what they're doing so they're more powerful? Because I don't excel as much in the physical realm, I guess.
Sure. So, do you have any powers that affect other people?
Yes.
Okay. Could you give them any bonuses or anything like
Yeah,
that?
so I have. Let's see. I saw one a second ago. So I have a thing called group tactics. That is. The other thing is I didn't quite understand. So it says emotion target gains a certain number of tokens that can be spent as a free action to give +1 for each person involved in any action that requires teamwork. This is teamwork.
I agree.
Yeah, this
I
is
agree.
teamwork.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And the target of that is a single person.
So. I guess so.
Okay.
Does it say?
I mean, it says individual.
Yeah, it's
Just
an
target.
individual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So it
yeah,
says
you
plus
can-
1 for each person involved. So it's like, do you give one person a big bonus?
Yeah.
So they get +5 because of 5 of us here,
Got it.
then, is it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Could we like retcon and say you gave that to Zogla?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
after Bill's thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're
Amazing,
talking about.
perfect.
That went perfect.
Dina puts her hand, her webbed hand on Zagla's shoulder and is like, I believe in you.
What's your mark?
Oh, so
Yeah.
little bubbles kind of start up from my feet and go brrrr, like all up my body.
Okay.
And roll for it.
Okay. So what do I add to?
Bonus to roll.
Got it.
Mhm.
Okay. 11.
11. Okay, so that will be a minor success, but a success nonetheless.
I'll take it.
So, yeah.
Is it better than Bill?
When in the effect of the power, it should say like A/B/C/D bonus.
Yes.
So take the first number. That's the result for
One.
minor success. Hey, that's still a +5 bonus. That's still pretty good. Okay, so Zagla, you have 1 token you can use to give yourself +5 to some action here.
Cool.
+5 to running.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I do that?
Sure. Yeah.
Because, like, this is what I've been given this gift for. I'm a run.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you roll an athletics check to just like go into a sprint if that's what you want to do?
Yes. Okay, that is a 12 plus 1, so 13.
And you want to add your +5?
Plus 5,
All right.
+5 to
So-
scampering.
18.
So that's a moderate success. So yeah, you just like take off, and you all of you who are like 6 to 8 feet tall, you're like, oh, look at the cute little Llewellyn, and then she just like kind of disappears.
She
into the
appears
distance.
faster.
Look at her go.
Damn it,
Okay.
our defensive position is now weakened.
Okay, so as you all travel along the sides, and Indira, are you staying towards the front?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. What do you want to do? Are you sampling? Are you using more powers? What?
Each of us or me specifically?
Oh, everyone.
All right.
Oh.
I think we kind of, let's say we, as a group, kind of decide we're going to use these ESO strips after what Bill kind of described, that we're looking for the physic. Because I'm assuming you're saying they're like litmus strips. They react a certain way, but is it the deeper the color gets, the kind of stronger the force is in the area of the strip as it changes it?
It's like whatever you apply it to, it's going to react. So the color that it will manifest goes from like a bright scarlet showing a high concentration to like a very dull sort of blue that's a low concentration.
I guess just for fun, since I haven't used a power yet, I would like to do Mega Leap, and I would like to try to touchy a strip high up on the big squid friend.
You trying to slam dunk it? Boom!
Roll it and tell us your mark.
7 plus, that appears to be 9 plus 3. Okay, so I got a 19.
Wow.
And what do you mean?
Ow.
Oh, my mark. Sorry. Yes. My mark is a. Jennifer was googling this earlier, but it's a JoJo like stand that comes up behind me, and it's one of my ancestors.
Oh my god!
Smiling down at
this
what
is some,
I do.
Like Magician's Red shit.
Yeah. It's basically a 10-foot tall ghost snake. Ancestors. Like,
just given the like, yeah. Okay, chill.
Very good.
So probably since you're like following Zagla, who is sped off way in front of you, you just sort of like look around, activate this power, just kind of bro out with your ancestor for a second. Nobody else sees this.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, there's a little bit of like glow, but since we're so far away and it's like weird diffused light, I kind of get sad. Like, it's kind of my moment, but all right.
I see it.
Yeah, I'm probably like somewhat closer to you. You see a second snake, a big snake behind me. Like,
and
then just launch myself like Luigi in Smash Bros.
Yes.
A picture like when you go up and like Miles Morales slam this like sticker up
there.
Down
Exactly.
there
That's
looking
110%
over.
what it is. Yes, you're 100% right.
Yeah, the one's looking at Indira and be like, "Look at this guy, right?"
Yeah.
Amping you up.
So I got a 19 total to that.
All right. So what does that? What's like under the second part of the // in the power description?
3 tokens that can be spent as a free action to jump 10 feet in the air.
Okay. Cool.
How does spending tokens work? Can I jump 30 feet in the air, or can I jump 10 feet in the air 3 times?
You can jump 10 feet 3 times.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So I jump 10 feet in the air and slappy a strip.
Okay. You can try and do like a wall jump if you want.
Ooh, I want that. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that like an athletics?
Roll an athletics check.
Okay, cool. What's a 6 get me? I have a 0 athletics, which is weird.
Oh.
That is weird.
Yeah.
So let's say just because you already have the effect of the power coursing through your body, you jump up the 10 feet, you expend one of the charges, you like feel yourself about to like pop straight off and into the open air, and you manage to sort of like just slap yourself forward into the actual body of the Marlin, and you don't fly off into open space, but you don't gain any more height.
Okay, gotcha. All right, yeah. So I'll take a read from there. I had another thing that I could like give myself a bonus, but I didn't want to use any more fatigue just for measuring dead fish. So.
Yeah.
Just imagine that body dead rubber slapping into that corpse. Beautiful thing.
I keep slapping this fishy. I hate it. It's so hard.
Samantha, I told you to stop.
And the level you said is how much fatigue we get?
The activation cost is how much fatigue you get.
Activation cost 6. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, let's say, I'm assuming you're each taking a reading, so I'm just going to tell you relatively what they are. So, Samantha, and it was you, Borba, who is going the slower pace.
I was kind of... I don't see me as a sprinter being a big bullman, so I'm just basically...
Sure.
As I saw Zagla tear off in the direction, I just turned to walk in the other direction, basically.
Okay. So you each get a like pretty strong red off your strip. There's like a high concentration. It's not like exploding with physic. Zagla and Bill, you guys each a bit further down, wipe your strips on the body. You come away with a like softer red. And you actually, each of you, as you rub these strips against the body, you feel that there is a little bit of give to the skin here. It's not quite as like rigid as it seemed to be at the front.
Should have punched there.
Messed up.
Measure twice, punch once.
That's what my ancestors said.
Yeah.
So if we're seeing this litmus test go stronger to the right after we kind of analyze this all together, I would, in character,
why don't we go down the right and take a little bit more of a look? See if there's anything that's given off that feel, something that's a little bit more physical, that we don't need to fail any more checks. I mean, try to do things really well on.
So also,
maybe we should... Sorry, go on.
Yeah, you guys spreading out along this thing are like hundreds of feet apart from each other at this point. So you'll need to... You can't talk super easily. You can, as long as you're on the same side, you could probably yell to each other. But it's like up 500 feet over this thing and then down, all the way to the other side.
There's
If you're,
not eye contact for everyone.
Yeah.
Well, with the equipment and the scalpel and the litmus test and stuff, is there a equivalent walkie-talkie thing?
Yes, actually. You each have a small stone similar to the one Silix was holding.
Okay.
This one is like more oblong and angular. Does not seem to be the same pure white as the stone she was holding.
We do have.
Okay.
It's more of a short-range communication device.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
looks like it's a bit stronger on the right side over here. If you guys want to work your way back, what do you find on the left side, Zagla?
Not a lot.
All right, right side.
Still running.
Just hear...
Yeah, the's a lot of like. You can hear it.
Zagla, turn your communicator off. We don't want to hear you when you run.
Guys, maybe we should cut into this thing and see if we can find anything.
That's impossible to get inside.
I tried.
It's impossible.
As he's saying that, can I drag my horn alongside the body just to see if it'll tear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes this like big old scratch in it. It's like, dragging like a pick across a piece of rock or something. It's not, it's scored pretty badly. It isn't like cracked.
Oh, what do you know? Samantha might be right. It seems to be rock almost up here.
Yeah, I'd make my way towards Bill, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'll slowly make my way towards Bill, making sure people that are farther away from Bill were making their way as well. And covering them, I guess, whatever.
Well, we do have some scalpels and
Do
stuff
I need
too,
to turn back, or can I run all the way around?
And pass.
I've been going very fast this whole time.
Given how far you've gone at this point, it would probably be about equidistant.
Just loop on around.
I'm just gonna keep running around. I'll meet everyone over there.
Have you guys played the video game Subnautica?
Yes.
I'm so terrified right now. It's so goddamn scary. And there's like a huge downed spaceship and that's like a crazy dangerous spot. So that's just where my brain is going right now.
I'm sure it's fine.
I'm sure it's fine.
We're just on a cool science expedition.
Yeah.
This Atlanteans dead.
No similarities.
Yeah.
So the rest of you sort of turn around, begin to circle back around the front of the Marlin and collect a good ways down the right-hand side, probably like almost 1,000 feet or so. Zagla, you're just continuing to sort of like scamper along down. And as you run, you see the body from the massive head protruding hundreds of feet above the ground kind of falls into this like this slow descent until maybe 2,000 feet or so down, or about 1,000 or so feet down. You see it begin to form these long tentacles sort of emerge out of the body and form these separate winding trunks that sprawl along the floor. I want you to make me a perception check.
Perception's bad. Is everyone doing?
I think
just Zog.
Oh, that's all. I got it.
Yeah.
That is an 18 plus
Wow.
1, so 19.
Okay. As you run, especially being like right up against the ground, it makes it actually a little easier to see this than it would have been otherwise. As you begin to circle around the back, where you actually come within maybe 50 or 100 feet of the membrane itself as you pass around the back, maybe scampering over some of the tentacles as you do. You see these small but very pronounced score marks in the ground, as if leading straight from the sort of tentacles in the Marlin body itself back into the membrane.
Okay, can I do a litmus test here?
Sure, yeah.
I'll go ahead and do that.
And you notice, being back here, these tentacles are like squishy. They're like normal dead body consistency. Except not rigor mortis.
Can punch it.
You punch it. You punch it.
Oh my god.
Your fist like thuds into it in a very satisfying way.
God.
It's a little sticky though.
Samantha's gonna be so mad.
Can't prove you punched it.
What easel strip do you want to use? What energy?
I think we're looking for physic still, so I'm going to go ahead and use that.
Okay. So you wipe this on the tentacles. It comes off like a little bit sticky with this like goo that you've been observing as you ran along it.
Cute.
And also a like soft blue. Not like it's super deep blue, but nice mellow blue.
Okay.
So not a high concentration here. Not very much at all.
Okay. I think I'm still gonna like call into the others real fast and say,
Found squishy parts.
Okay. How was the concentration over there?
Physics not strong. But there are these scores on the ground.
Okay.
I haven't followed them yet. I can't.
Maybe. Well, we shouldn't split the party
Right.
that much, I would think.
You're very far away. I say
Yeah.
into Bill's communicator. Not mine.
I take back you have your own. Just take your own out. Sorry about that, Zog. We had a little bit of a distraction over here.
Samantha here.
Samantha can punch it.
No, impossible.
I'm trying to give. Take it back. Okay. Try to run some more tests. We'll be right there. And then I put it in my pocket. And I look at Samantha and I go, "You have your own. Use your own." I talked about this.
I thought you already were talking to her, so it made sense to me. I'm sorry.
We can three-way call it.
I'm sorry, Bill.
It's a party line.
I don't want to use this dang thing.
Is Samantha 70 by any chance?
I'm 70.
She FaceTimes just her forehead when she's using this thing.
This is a 70-year-old intern.
I'm a late bloomer.
Oh, poor Samantha. I just feel bad.
Kids, it went all around.
Broke
Your
her head.
ancestors just like your dad.
My husband.
So I want all of you leaving the side, so everyone except Zagla to make a perception check as well.
Oh boy, I'm gonna not see it. -1. Okay.
It looks fine.
I'm underwater.
It's a 12 for me.
Okay.
It's an 11 for me.
I have a 10.
19.
19. Okay. Most of you don't really seem to notice too much. You, Samantha, I keep forgetting. You kind of remember the sort of consistency of the Marlin on the other side around this point. The sort of a little bit spongy. As you run your hand along it, as you like glance over to the side, it seems actually a little stiffer.
Weird.
It's rigor mortising, but
Well,
rock style.
I mean, I don't know a lot about rigor mortis in our world nor beyonder, but it feels like it's getting too powerful. Do you think we could like climb up it
You could try.
to like take a shortcut to? Because we want to get to Zogla, right?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So I have ropes, so I want to use a rope check or whatever. I want to try to climb up and then like sort of Jennifer, what did you say before?
Bouldering.
I want to make a bouldering check to sort of like climb up and then put like pythons, a word I've never known how to say correctly.
Yeah.
Into
I think it's
That's right. That's
to
good.
help the rest of the crew up, and so that we can walk on top to meet Zogla.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll my
Alright.
2d10s. I rolled a 9. Anything you want me to add to that?
Add your athletics.
Okay, I got a 9.
All right.
Tell you what, no,
If
I
somebody-
know. How about this? I'm gonna use my thingy, right? Adrenaline rush, and okay. So I'm gonna use adrenaline rush to help me do this. So body
Okay.
target gets a da 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 da. So I'm gonna roll.
Actually, are you just using a rope? I have a climber's kit.
Oh, you have a climber's kit.
I do.
Oh, that would be. You see, a ghost
Way better.
start to form behind
Samantha-
me, and then you got your.
Samantha gets up 6 feet, slides down. Do you want?
Oh, so now you want me to use your stuff? Okay.
Even when you said, well, fine, use your rope. I'm going to use this then.
No, help.
Use your rope, boy. Knock yourself out.
Bill, what is your athletics check? Because even though I'm good with rope, I'm not good at athletics.
Athletics, like in real life, I get a -1.
-1.
Can I try-
So maybe my 0 is good. A whole bunch of for
As
scientists,
this is
a
happening-
0 is good.
If
we
you
assume that
want,
we've all kind of got together at this point, kind of heading towards Zogla. Can I try and throw Samantha up? Because I have some athletics.
Oh, really? Awesome. Yeah. Help me.
so also one of you can assist another if you want, just giving them a +2.
Oh, and I have 2 more tokens for Jumpy. So,
One more token.
I thought I
Because you
had
did
3.
spend the 2.
Oh, that's right. I did double.
Yeah,
check.
yeah.
Okay, so I have 1 more token. So I'm sure together, me and Borba can.
I never wants to fail at roll as much in my life. Let's throw you against the stone.
Don't be used to me.
So I have a +3 to athletics, and I rolled 14 + 3, 17.
Dope.
Wow. So yes,
My previous
Samantha.
9 roll. Yes.
with your background in climbing and your strong, hardy Kron physique, you spend a little bit trying to like slam these pitons
Yeah.
into the wall to no effect. And Borba just comes up behind you while you're holding one of them and like just like thanks, guys,
Save me some
There you
time.
go,
Thank
bud.
you.
Smith is getting very owned.
Yeah. This happens from time to time.
yeah.
And then I use my
So-
incredibly good rope skills,
Amazing.
which is
Yeah.
really what's getting us up there. And who cares about this athletics checks bullshit?
Yeah.
It's the ropes that's going to get us up there. And then I said the ropes.
Yeah, so you guys pretty quickly, after 5 or 10 minutes, you managed to set up a pretty easy to follow line up to the top of the Marblin. Once you get over the main curvature, which is just like 100 feet or so, it's a pretty easy jaunt up.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, you all notice as you get up there, it is a little bit squishier up there too. And you can actually see from here, this is like being on top of the Empire State Building. There's just
Whoa.
a view forever.
camp
This is the only raised object in this entire place.
Yeah.
So you can like see the little camp. You can see down at the far end where it looks like, I mean, you can't really make out the figures, but you imagine that's where, Josier and Koth and
Yeah.
Silix are.
That's where our crew is.
Yeah.
The other thing, Bill is a little bit closer to the ground up here than most of you. He's looking very not good.
Got a height thing
Looking
going
around.
on.
Let's just keep let's keep going. Just go it along. Yeah. Yeah.
You guys gonna head down to the sort of tendril base area
Yes.
where Zagla is?
Yes. I believe
As soon as possible.
Zagla has been running tests. She has made a little rainbow of litmus strips on this creature.
So have you been testing just physic in different places, or all of the energies, or what?
I want a rainbow, so all of the energies.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you just take them out and like arranging them very nicely. You actually get some good information out of this. So specifically where you are, you see like a middling concentration of body. You see no spirit. You see like middling concentration of physic. You see no mental or emotional, which isn't surprising, but besides the normal like background radiation level, and you see a pretty hefty amount of shadow, actually, which does seem a little weird.
Weird.
Yeah. And I want all of you to make me another perception check.
Ooh. That is a natural 20 of whatever that is.
Wow. Oh, you got double zeros?
I did.
All right, so you get to roll again and add that.
What?
Oh, man.
Hey.
That's
so
another
good.
7.
All right.
So that is a total of 28.
Wow.
I got a
Excellent.
22, which I thought was really good.
I got a 17,
16.
which I thought was good.
Damn.
16, which I'm guessing is shite.
Get out of here.
I failed so hard before. This is like the other side.
We're like all like we're
10.
wavelength right now.
10.
10. Zagla is very focused on her rainbow.
That's true.
Zagla's
And it
doing
looks,
good
it
work
does look
already.
really good. Yeah. So that's some really good rolls, guys. So let's say you are very immersed in your easel strips right now, Zagla, and you perceive that they look awesome.
Pretty.
Borba, you don't see much of anything. You're going along. Indira and Bill, you like out of the corner of your eye, you swear you catch like a little bit of movement. And Samantha, is it Samantha or Sam? Should I say?
Good question. Actually, I think I would go by Sam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sam, you actually with a 28, that is a
No, Bill
major
got 28,
success.
Sorry. I got a 20.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was Bill who got the 28.
Yeah.
Yes. So Bill, you are the one who notices this particular thing. You actually see a little small sort of bulge in the surface of the Marlin that seems to be like slightly raised, just like a little bit. And you're walking and you're just catching this out of the corner of your eye, and you see it, and instinctively you just don't look directly at it. You just keep walking for a second, and it follows you.
What?
And then you see some of your companions turn around to like look in that area. This is when you others see the flicker of motion, and it immediately like slips back down to the ground.
No.
And you notice the sort of area that the bump moved along is a little bit harder, more brittle than the rest of the area around it.
So while I was up here, definitely looking at the ground for inspection and not here, I noticed something. Rocks don't sweat. That's ridiculous.
It's very damp down here.
That's like weirdly humid.
There seems to be something moving along the surface of this thing, and it's sentient of some sort, because when you guys went to look at it, it went back in. It's either a creature inside or this thing is infected. We don't need to fight. You punched it before. We saw what happened. You shouldn't want to fight this thing. But something is going on.
Well, if there's something inside of it, I don't want to fight the Marlin, but maybe if there's like a weird creature that we must take down.
You do want to fight that.
Well, yeah.
I feel like we're gonna like punch it, and there's gonna be like a million crabs are gonna come out.
Jesus.
That's a dream for later. Nice.
Yeah, save it for we're ranked 20. Come on.
Dang.
I'm gonna draw my blade. I do like that. It seems to sort of follow a loose weapon type for some of the basic stuff. So I kind of want to have from Game of Thrones a Dothraki like Auroch, like a curved blade type thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
And,
So yeah,
I
you
don't
draw
want to
your
see anything,
sword.
but I want to be like prepared.
Okay. Cool. You don't see anything further at the moment.
Cool. I'll keep it out and sort of be on edge.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to be actively perceptive for what I saw before as well.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
And you continue walking down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Why don't you all roll me another perception check?
Everything at the end
including
is like,
Uzagla.
roll perception again. I get very stressed.
11.
5. Ugh. I'm walking happily. I'm enjoying the sights of nothing.
I got a 16.
16? 4? 4 for Zagla?
Oh,
All right, big 4. All right.
my rainbow is getting better and getting more of my attention.
Yeah, you're doing like you're putting out the strips in like this cool like sort of snaky pattern like around the tentacles as they lay on the floor.
Yeah. It's
So
gonna
yeah,
look like a piece of art when my friends get here.
They're gonna be so proud of me.
so yeah, none of you notice anything particularly out of the ordinary. Things seem to have quieted down.
That doesn't stress me out at all. It's normal.
Yeah.
Plot
So when we
twist,
get to
everything's totally safe.
when we get to the other side, I would like to use a climber's kit to help us get down.
Okay. So actually, as you get to the sort of base of the creature where Zagla is, it naturally tapers down into these like tentacles. So it's pretty easy to just like walk, sort of pseudo climb down.
I will like to put my climbing kit back.
Okay.
It's real cool.
All right. So yeah, you meet up with Zagla at the bottom. You see this beautiful sort of array of different easel strips, array this very pleasing formation around some of the tentacles, and this beautiful rainbow.
Wow, Zagla, you've really been at work. This is impressive.
Testing.
Gorgeous science. I like it.
Oh, science.
Thank you.
Science is good. We all love
Gotta
it.
give it up for science.
Science, everybody.
Round of applause.
Pretty science.
So what'd you find over here? Is there anything interesting? Did you watch any moving bumps across the skin of this thing?
Bumps?
Just asking.
No.
Okay. We saw something up there, so something to keep an eye out for. But what'd you find? Anything
I
good?
start pointing to these like the aspects of my artwork.
Lots of shadow. Some physic. Some body. None of the others.
Okay.
Lots of shadow.
You're the shadow specialist, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that a normal thing for you?
To find shadow energy?
A lot of it.
It's not normal here.
Okay. So a lot of physic on one side, a lot of shadow on the other. Well, I'm more confused. Can we go inside of it?
We're the best scientists, guys. So, is there anything? Sorry, go on.
So it does look like if you wanted to, you could try and pick your way through the tentacles towards the inner part.
Squishy. Slimy.
It is squishy and it is slimy. You were right. I apologize.
Can punch it.
I have my sword out. I don't need to punch it now. When you say inner part, do you mean like its mouth or whatever, or you know,
whatever. A beak? Is there a beak?
Is there a beak? Is there a butt?
Um,
Or one of those like breathe holes that squids have. What are they called to make them swim fast?
so I'm not sure how well versed most of you are in Marlin physiology. Indira, you probably do know something about this. Marlin do have the tentacles sort of come up to surround the sort of base of the body, and in the center there is a beak that they eat through.
Okay. We're in the beak zone.
Should we go to the beak zone?
I think we might need to go to the beak. Maybe I ate something.
Sure.
Are we
ate a
purposefully
bump.
about to get eaten by a corpse? Is that about to happen?
Think of the adventure.
Can we like throw something at the beak to see?
Well, we're not
that?
at the beak yet. We're at
Okay.
the tentacle now.
Well, I'm just planning ahead.
I mean, guys, it's dead. We're signing this. We can dissect this thing and just walk past the beak. I mean, think of how proud, the guys are going to be. Like, we'll go back with cool stuff for Silex, and we'll be made famous. What's the worst thing
Tiny.
Inside, though.
Yeah, something is definitely moving inside of here.
It could be a great discovery. It could be a cool new creature.
Or we could eat us. No, but you're right. You're totally right. I think this will be really good for us. And this is why we're doing this internship right now, to
Forgot we're
seek out.
interns.
Yeah,
to get eaten.
for new discoveries and to make our supervisors proud.
Well, before we go in,
surf and turf.
before we go in and just leave a rainbow of beautiful science outside, should we get the record keeper and just let them know what we found out? Just in case.
In case we die.
That's kind of what I was getting at, yeah.
Jacob, do you have a recommendation for the usefulness of sensing versus recognizing in a case like this?
What do you mean recognizing?
So if I've recognized shadow power or sense shadow energy.
Yes. So this is definitely a case where you want to use sense. Recognize is like if you used an Umbrus ability, an Umbrus power, and somebody else used recognize, they would be able to say, oh, you used this power. Sense is more like this what's going on in the area.
Okay, I would like to sense shadow energy.
Okay. So, yeah, and what is your mark, Zagla?
My ears get really long like a bunny's.
Yes. Okay. So, you all watch as Zagla's ears like...
I didn't think she could get any cuter.
And what? I rolled a 11. What do I add to it? 5?
There should
for
be
the bonus to roll.
Yeah. Okay, so 5. So that's a 16.
16.
Excellent. Yeah. So you reach out. Your ears like elongating as you do. You feel, and that's a moderate success. So I'll say, with moderate clarity, you feel a lot of shadow energy. Not even static inside this creature, but kind of like roiling through. Shadow energy is the energy of dissolution, of entropy, of decay. And you feel it sort of actively reaching it throughout this creature and breaking down almost some of the parts of it, especially down here where there's more body. You feel tendrils of shadow starting to reach into it and like break that down and dissolve it away.
Do I get the sense that is dangerous?
For you or for this thing?
For us. Because it sounds kind of bad.
So basically what you're seeing here seems like the natural process of decay, but accelerated. Almost.
Would that help explain why there's no spirit energy? Like if it went too fast and all of the spirit energy was consumed first?
That would definitely explain that. Shadow is the opposite of spirit. So with this much shadow present, that would make sense.
Huh. Okay. There's a lot of shadow. It's working very fast.
Maybe whatever is inside of this is accelerating the process.
We gotta get inside.
Very smart. That's good.
Does it seem like we have any time pressure, so to speak? Like, would it be a quote-unquote negative to slightly metagame a little bit here? Just be like, hey, like, could we just send someone over to be like, hey, real quick, here's what we're doing, and let's check in, or...
No, there's no time pressure.
Can we use the rocks?
Oh, okay, good.
Use Xerox.
Is there though?
Our
The rocks. Sorry.
It's like,
Like, okay.
probably no.
We don't pronounce
Do we have
H's
a
in
large
Ireland.
copier?
We don't
Let me
pronounce
just
CH's in Ireland. It's D-rocks.
Yes, you could. So each of the little stones it's like a short wave radio, but there is a sort of way you can attune it to a specific like locus that everyone's able to communicate with that's set up in the center camp.
Perfect.
So they know we're here. So if they come back and there are 5 interns gone, they'll know.
Turn to rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Also, I'd like to go on record here and say I don't have a weapon. So if it's
Me
something we
neither.
need to fight,
You don't have a weapon?
I'm not good at that. You know, I'm
I'm a science
Good
boy
for
as well. I'm a delicate, soft science boy.
Why do I have a blade and a javelin? and candles.
Share.
Set it on fire.
I thought you were the talk about fighting. You have 2 weapons. Wow.
Yeah. And
So-
technically 3 if you count the candles.
My teeth count as a weapon, which I like.
That is very good.
Just for the purposes of this, I'll say that each of you has a blade of your size.
Nice.
Oh shit! I forgot I had this.
It's a huge samurai sword.
I have 2 healing potions. That'll come in handy.
You have a lot of stuff.
I mean, I'm ready.
Look at all that rope.
Did you take our stuff? Is that why you have so much?
There.
Well, during orientation, I grabbed all this rope, and then I snuck off, and then I grabbed all these rations, and
You did say you took all the office supplies.
yes,
Yeah.
That
Oh,
is
shit.
true.
they're just giving them out. I grabbed these 2 healing potions.
That
They're
was
energy
the whole
drinks.
I mean, so maybe we should cut into this thing, guys. But like before we do, like maybe we should take some precautions and like without like really explaining what's happening. My mark is going to go off again, and I'm going to cast Protective Spirit, which is on 3 people. I'm gonna cast it on Zogla, Bill, and myself. The 3 that have like look like Walmart bog standard blades of our own size, as opposed to
A javelin.
the snake with a weapon mouth and a javelin and blades. The arms to eat Rambo fish.
The 2 scaly ones are like, ha!
My teeth glinting.
Good call. Good
So
call.
for the next 5 minutes, I need to roll on that first before I figure out what I can get. So I have a bonus of 1 to this, and I got 15, 16.
All right, that's a moderate success.
So that means the second one, so 2. So there's a medium effect, and what's medium effect? Is that modern? Or is that
Medium is specifically like the format through which you channel the power. So for physics, media are like force, heat, space, things like that.
Okay, so if I was in a lot of spirit energy, okay, I get you. So
Yeah.
what it has, the effect of this then effectively is spirit target, all damage is reduced by 2 for the targets basically for the next 5 minutes.
Awesome.
So if we get hit, guys, we're not going to be totally squished.
Good news. Great. Thank you.
So Bill, lead the way.
Why?
No, you get behind me.
Yeah,
tell me
we'll
where
go
to
behind. They know how to use. He's really good at punching things.
I don't know. So far, Zagla's your star puncher.
That is
That's
true.
true.
That is true. And I'm pissed. I'm not a Jake.
Zogla.
What can I say?
And also Renee.
Okay. So what's marching order?
Samantha? Sam?
Should
Zogla.
yeah? I feel like the blades should be the front and the back, right?
Yeah.
So I can be in the back.
I'll be the rock of the group and be in the middle.
Perfect.
Also, I'm the shadow person.
Yeah, so it's near the front, like peeking
Yes.
around.
Yes.
I've -2 and 4 to my 2 combats, and I'm a leader, so I'll be directing things from the back, I guess.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm
You're
really,
doing great, guys.
I'm going to do a stealth check too, if I can.
Yeah. Why doesn't everybody roll stealth?
So,
If you're trying to be
Sounds great.
stealthy.
Oh, myself.
so I got a 15.
Okay.
Now, quick question for you, Jacob. When you roll a double, but it's not a 0 or a 1, does it do anything for you?
It's our Monopoly rules.
I got 6.
6.
20.
No, 15. 15 total first.
I got a 5.
14.
10.
5 for Indira. Oof. 10
Yeah.
for Borba. And Bill, are you stealthing?
Yes, 14.
14. And so the order is Sam, Zagla, Bill, Borba, and Dira. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you guys sort of slowly, carefully, with some degree of stealthiness, by everyone except Indira, who's like humming a little bit in
I'm
the
like
back.
squishing and like making like gurgling fish sounds. Like, stop it, what are you doing?
You manage to slowly sort of facing this sort of slithery, almost like a bucket of eels tipped on its side, this mass of tentacles kind of sloping down towards you. You approach, and through some squeezing through some crevices and like applying some force in other areas, you manage to push your way into what eventually kind of balloons into a bit of a larger, it's almost like a cavern. And the effect is very interesting because the diffuse light from the sphere doesn't actually reach inside here. So what you have is these giant shadows cast by the various tentacles around you, and it's almost like if you've ever been in like a redwood forest, and it's just a couple huge sort of obstacles around you casting giant shadows. That's what it's like, but like tipped on its side. It's very eerie.
Weird. What is our? Do we have like a dark vision situation?
I have dark vision.
Where do I find that?
I think it's under racial traits.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yep.
So if you don't, then you don't.
I have teeth.
Yeah, if it doesn't say that.
I have dark vision, but only in water. Like dark
But also you
You're
have
so close to
candles.
water.
so close, but not
Sorry.
in.
Renee.
I have a
I have a
torch.
lantern. I have a lantern as well.
Okay.
So
All
I
right.
light that up.
Yeah, you can light that up easily enough. So you guys do have some light to see by. After a couple of minutes of walking, you come upon the beak of this creature, kind of half open, just jutting out from the main body.
Quick question
Beak,
for
not butt.
Hey, that's good news.
this protection you were going to throw on us. Were you going to throw this on us when we were going to go inside of it?
So like it's we've got 5 minutes, so I've basically just thrown it on as we're cutting into the side of it. Is kind of the way I was thinking. Like we're basically like maybe we should go inside this, start cutting, and I've cast it as that's happening.
Okay.
Essentially.
And with the beak, are we like right at the beginning of it, or are we inside of it and we found the beak from the inside? I missed that part.
You are very much in the center of like the tentacles of its body now. You've probably walked about 1,000 feet up from the base where you started.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Would you like to enter? Are you going to look around here? What do you want to do?
Perception check sounds like a wonderful idea.
All right, make your
Yeah, I
perception
agree,
check.
actually. I got a 13.
That's 18.
18.
That's a 6.
9.
17.
17. All right. So, everyone except Indira and Borba, you actually look around and you see. At first, you think it's water dripping from this creature because that kind of makes intuitive sense to you.
Yeah.
But then you're like, wait, no, that's not a thing. And you notice this strange goop kind of sliding down the sides of the creature, like down the sort of front of the torso area on the same plane as that the beak is jutting out from, down the sides of the tentacles. And as you watch and sort of tug on your party members' arms to get their attention, these puddles of goo, maybe 2 or 3 feet across each, there are 2 of them, one on either side, and they each begin to like slowly coalesce into a roughly over maybe 30 or 40 seconds into roughly humanoid figures. And it seems like they're just taking on the sort of like purpley kind of squamous, little bit pumicey, brittle texture of the creature around them. And you actually do notice, especially you, Zogla, with your high roll, you notice as these creatures stand up out of the Marblin's body, there is actually a bit of transfer where the area they stood up from seems a little bit more dry and brittle, and that same like pumice or the same sort of wetter texture is transferred into the skin of these creatures. So they begin slowly.
Ew, squishy.
It's not even like they're walking towards you. It's like they're just kind of sludging over slowly. Like their feet never leave the ground. Yeah, towards the group of you. There's one on either side, and they're just slowly kind of moving towards you.
Shuffling.
Yeah.
I'm going to say squamous is a wonderful word.
I've never heard that word.
No.
I read a lot of Lovecraft.
Yeah.
2, I'm going to take a chance here and just go, hey, would you like to stop so we can talk first? Just to see if it's sentient and can understand language.
Doesn't seem to recognize that at all.
Can I try talk to animals?
You can try, yeah.
I mean, I know there's no spirit energy, so I'm not holding out much for this. Right, bonus is 1, and I roll. Oh boy, I rolled a 5 total.
5, yeah. That just misfires.
Group. Basically, my effort at all.
Yeah, it does not seem to be making much headway into the minds of these creatures.
And
They're about
earlier,
15 feet away now.
There was no like emotion energy coming off of anything either. I'm assuming earlier there was not, right?
No.
Not at the front where you were detecting, or not at the tail where you were detecting Zagla.
Should we?
Yeah, no, there was no emotion, spirit, or mental.
Mental, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. We're all scientists. How likely is it that these things are undead, or how do we recognize undead? Zagla, do you know what undead? Like, is it a shadow thing?
There's a lot of shadow.
So undead undead in this world are like very different than things like this. Undead are like living sentient creatures. The only difference between undead and non-undead, and undead's kind of like a taboo term, it's a little bit disparaging, is that undead have stillness, what's called stillness energy instead of spirit. So they have, normal functional societies. They have their own like cities and kingdoms, and they even trade some with, non-stilled, technically, are the terms. These are not undead, and that is like a fact of the world that you all know.
I think I want to just run at them and do a melee combat attack against the one
right.
nearest to me. So I guess to the left to choose from. I believe you said 2.
Yes, there's one on either side of your group.
I think I get a 16.
Go, Sam, go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
16.
why doesn't everyone roll for reaction time?
All right, well, just 2d10s.
2d10s. Yeah, 2d10s, and add your perception.
Okay.
This is how quickly you're reacting.
Man.
That's a 15 for me.
Okay.
8 for Zagla.
12
Okay.
with my -1.
9 total for Indira.
19 for Sam.
Fitting.
Very perceptive.
You're gonna get it.
Wow. All right, sorry, say that again. Sam is 19 total, Zagla is 8. Bill, what are you at?
15.
15. And Borba?
12.
12. And Indira is at what?
9.
9. Okay. And these guys will have their own thing they're going on. So, let's do some combat. Woo! So, this is the way this works. This is, combat is generally something, I'm especially like a very kinesthetic person, and whenever I explain things, I gesticulate a lot and point at things a lot, so it's going to be a good challenge for me.
Okay.
Combat works like a clock. So this is what we call the moment wheel. It has each of the 6 energies on it in their pairs. And the way combat works is we're going to choose what moment is moment 0. We're going to do that by rolling a d6. Let's take emotion here as 1. I rolled a 3, so we're going to start on physic. And what that means is everybody's just going to declare what their action is, and then we count that many moments forward from physic, and we put your marker on that, like, clock face.
Okay.
And then we just tick forward, and when your thing resolves, you resolve it and declare your next thing.
Got it. And for those listening in the future, audio only, it's just a 6-chunked pie with the different energies on it, like a clock face. So pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Cool. So you, Sam, are making an attack, a weapon attack.
Yes.
So that is always a 3-moment action. So I'm going to put you in body, and that is where you will resolve.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Does anybody else want to do anything?
I have a javelin that I can throw, so I feel like I should probably do that.
And actually, technically, we should start with Zagla, because you have the lowest roll, so you're declaring first.
Oh, cool.
Okay. I think that I don't have a lot to do, but I can throw some caltrops in the way and slow them down a little bit.
Okay. So let's call that a ranged weapon attack. And that it will also be 3 moments to resolve. And a moment, for reference, is in this context 1 second, give or take. I'm going to make you number 2. Okay. So that's Sam. Now Indira.
Yeah, I would like to throw my javelin using my ranged combat skill.
Excellent. That will also be an attack, so you're also going on the resolving on the body moment. An other fact, so if you resolve a power on the moment associated with that power's energy, you get a +2 bonus.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so we have Borba and Bill left. So we have, let's have Borba go first, because you have a lower roll.
I have a power, Slay Undead.
Uh-huh.
Does that have to only be done against people who are this undead, or is that just an ability I have to deal damage?
I don't think that'll hurt anything that is not undead.
Okay. Well, then you should probably go to Bill and really figure out what I'm going to do. If you don't mind. I don't know my eggs in the undead basket thing. Jump to Josh. I'll have something in a second.
Okay.
So I have a talent in here because we haven't really dipped into talents too much yet. That's leadership for military strategy.
Okay.
If I was to stand in the center because I don't want to get into physical combat with anything, can I use my turn to help dictate where people are going and to help organize the attack to benefit in some way?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. How do I do that?
So if you're calling out instructions, let's make that a 3-moment action, because almost everybody is resolving on moment 3, so that would make sense that you would resolve at the same time as them if you're coordinating. And what we'll do is we'll have you roll, and depending on how well you do, we'll give people a bonus relative to that.
Okay. So what kind of thing am I adding to this roll?
So this will just be adding your leadership talent.
Okay.
And with the +2 proficiency for combat.
Okay. So leadership is -2, which is hilarious.
Oh, no.
Wow.
So +2, so this is a 0.
Oh, no.
Comes out in the wash.
And that comes out to 17.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, so we don't roll until you resolve on your turn.
Then I will roll later.
You can keep the roll, that's fine. But it won't happen until later.
Thank you for keeping a really good roll.
More fun for me. And Owen,
Okay,
what do you want to do?
First option, see if this is anything. I also have a talent in luck for chance encounters. Is there any hope that the badass, scary spider hands man can turn up, or how does chance encounters work?
So that's probably something that would usually happen out of that's stretching it a little bit. You can certainly try. You could make that like a 3-moment action and then roll luck on the resolution and see if anything happens.
Okay. If we want to try that, like if it's world breaking, I'm happy to similarly attack him, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So also, let's say that's not really something you have to actively do. Is you don't need to sit there and be lucky. So you can do something else and roll at any point.
Okay, well then I'll go to melee attack with my blade as well.
Okay.
I should check my stats. -2 to attack, but yeah. So I'll be on turn 3 with the guys then as well, yeah?
Okay. Yeah. So everybody's on turn 3. These 2 things, so the one that you are running towards, Sam, sort of sees you coming at it and begins to sort of like do this weird sort of shudder. You see little bumps begin to bristle on it. It's almost like when you get the like cornstarch and water mix and you put it on the speaker and it makes those weird shapes. It looks a little bit like that.
Yeah, gross.
Yeah.
But also cool. Science.
Yeah. Science, so much science. And the other one is going to sort of begin slouching towards you all faster. It looks like it's about to make an attack.
Got it.
So that is moment 0. We're all declared. Now we tick to moment 1. Nobody resolves. Moment 2. Nobody resolves. Moment 3. Pretty much everybody resolves there.
This is the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll start with Sam with the highest reaction time.
Okay.
So roll your attack.
All right. Oops. That is a 13 for melee combat as I slash in with my curved sword.
Okay. That will be a minor success. So, the way damage in combat works, everything is single roll. So, this creature, you're rolling against its combat defense. You got a minor success.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're going to take the damage from that, because minor, moderate, major, and complete all do a different amount of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Minor is 2.
Okay.
You're going to add your weapon damage.
Okay, that's 5.
What is that? Okay. And then add what size is the weapon?
Size.
Yes.
Blade, melee damage 5, special abilities +2, bonus to stunts. I do not see a size.
Well, okay. What size are you?
I am. I saw this. I think I'm 1. No. Size 1.
Okay.
Size 1.
Okay. So your size increases your weapon damage as well.
Oh, cool.
And you can also, for reference, like, you can hold a weapon up to 2 sizes larger. So you can have like a big greatsword that's that blade, or you can have like a little dagger or something as a smaller blade. So take the 2, add the 5 for your weapon, and add the 1 for the size, or the 2 for the size. Or was it 1? I'm sorry, I forget.
1.
1.
So,
okay. So 8 damage total.
8. 8 damage total.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, that makes sense to me.
And then we just take that, and I'm going to subtract its soak from that, and that's how many wounds it will take.
Got it. Because I assume the bad, evil creature did some sort of defensive action with its bumpy skin, right?
It doesn't look like it's finished whatever its action is yet.
Shit!
No,
it's probably
doing
gonna
something.
it's gonna
It's
porcupine
raining.
me. Yeah.
It's gonna like.
I don't like that. Okay, got it. Cool.
So that is you, and now redeclare your next action.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. Shit.
Yeah,
I
sneaks up on you.
I'm glad I'm playing a sort of brute, so to speak. I'm seeing if I have any cool stunts. Tell you what, do you think defensive reaction would work here as I see these spikes forming up? Body target gains, blah, blah, blah. Tokens that can be spent as a free action to give +1 bonus to OD against a single physical attack. Do you think I can do that?
Yeah.
Activation time 2.
So yeah, it depends on when this thing resolves.
Okay, so I might not be fast enough, but I would like to do defensive reaction. So my ancestral spirit forms up and hey, and then I believe I'll roll in 2 moments.
Okay, you will indeed. And that is your move.
That's a cool way to
now
turns and rounds and stuff.
So the creature, so the other creature, the one that you are not fighting, Sam, is now going to resolve. And yeah, I feel like it gives more granularity to combat. It's a little like I like the ability to have, and I get to like talk about this because I didn't make this part of the game, so I don't feel bad being like, oh, I love it so much. That one is going to attack. Let's see, who is on the other side of the group?
I'm in the middle.
Okay.
Probably me, I'd say.
Okay,
I'm
it's
probably
going
far
to
back,
come.
Because you're javelining.
Yeah, I'm javelining.
And so, okay, let's say it's going to attack you, Borba, just because you're kind of the biggest, most obvious target. So it's going to roll.
I love the most handsome boy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the most handsome.
He's the
That's it,
beefiest
yeah.
cowman in all the
The,
city.
the giant unkempt cow.
What is your combat defense?
My combat defense is. Let me see where it is again. That's not my soak. Where's my combat defense? Defense rating, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, combat is -5. Oh boy.
Oh,
Oh boy.
that's not good.
That's not good at all.
Where's that?
Okay.
But I do have -2, so I have 3 soak, and I also have -2 mitigating damage for my protective power I used.
Excellent. Okay. So you are going to, and do you have armor on your sheet?
Where would I see armor? I don't think I do.
It would be on the second page.
Leather armor. Yeah, that's my 3 soak.
Okay. So it rolls a 17 to hit on its attack roll. So that is going to be a moderate success. So it will do 5 plus its base damage. And then you'll subtract your soak from that. So that is going to be 5 plus 3. So that's 8 wounds minus your soak of 3 is 5.
And then -2 for the protective spirit.
Yes,
channeled, correct?
and -2 for the spirit. So
So
3
3
wounds
damage.
total. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. And that one is going to swing around to attack again. It's approaches you. It doesn't seem to have any sort of weaponry, but as it approaches you, it sort of bull rushes you, and this array of just pointed bits of this muck just spear out of its chest and stick into you. Your armor absorbs most of it, but it does kind of stick into your stomach a little bit, and you feel a little bit of blood trickling out.
Hate to see it.
Cool.
Hate to see it.
All right. That's kind of my stick, because I've realized horns are a weapon I have and can use.
And now it is going to be Bill's turn.
So, tell me if this is cool. Using this leadership military thing, I'm going to see what's going on. See that Borba just got wrecked slightly. So I'm going to turn around to Indira and go, Indira, can you help out? Can you help out Borba a bit? He seems to be in a little bit of trouble, and trying to organize the battlefield to give Borba some help.
Sure. Yeah. So roll your leadership for that.
That was the roll that I did before.
So 17. So yeah,
17,
that's a moderate success. So I'll give you a +2 on your next attack, Borba, as long as you're following. Indira, as long as you're following his instructions.
I'm gonna fall back.
Cool.
farther.
Excellent.
Cool.
Don't do it
Yeah.
just to own Josh.
Like, no.
I take that.
I'm sitting right here.
I don't listen to you.
You're not
my dad. And what is your next action?
So, seeing that Borba was also in a bit of trouble there, and I take it, Indira, your javelin is going to be thrown, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to start to cast or create shield arm on Borba. Would you say he's within 1 yard of me for touch?
Yeah.
Okay, then I will start to do that. Activation time is 4 moments.
Okay. All right. So I'll put you ahead 4 moments onto Spirit.
And the fatigue will kick in once that's actually, done, correct?
Yes, after you activate the power.
Okay. And because of the amount of time that went by earlier, do we still have the same amount of fatigue that we had, or has it been a little bit?
No, it's been a bit. So you've recovered everything.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you kindly.
You are welcome. So we have 3 more people resolving in this moment. We have Borba is going to be next on 12.
Okay,
And
so
you're attacking? What were you doing?
having properly reread my sheet again, I had forgotten that I have horns as a giant bull, and
Okay.
they're one large weapon to do +3 damage and get +2 if I do a charge while attacking. So does charging take extra moments then, or how would that work?
Charge needs at least 2 moments. You basically just need to run towards it.
So I've taken 3 to attack. It's 2 more on top of that, is it?
No, those could be included in the 3 you spent attacking. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to attack with my horns.
Okay.
So that's a melee combat, isn't it?
Yes.
-2. Brilliant. So that is 11 minus 2 is 9.
9?
And I didn't get anything from the combat tactics from Bill, did I?
No,
Oh, that
because
was-
he used that on Indira.
Correct. So yeah, I got a 9 to attack then.
All right, so you swing at it with your horns, and after like feeling the things punch into your chest, these like weird spiky tendrils punch into your chest, you just let out this angry snort. You buck and you like just smash your head into it, and your head just kind of like just sticks inside its like kind of squishy body. You're able to just put your hands on it and like pull it out before it like manages to pull you in, but it doesn't look like it did any damage.
Gross.
So you didn't.
I'm not sure it's up here. It didn't hit,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And what's your next action?
I'm going to just basically retry doing that. So I'm going to kind of take back a few more steps and just try and run at it and basically score it again.
Okay, great. And that leaves us with Indira,
Okay.
with the second to last.
So so I want to throw my javelin. So it's got a range of 60 yards, which I feel like we should be totally fine with.
Definitely, yes.
And I have a 2 in ranged combat, so I just roll. But then I got an additional 2, right? To my roll
Yes.
from Bill. Okay, cool. Ooh, that was our cat screaming. 12, 16.
That'll hit, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a minor success.
Okay. So the damage is 4. But then, sorry, can you remind me how that works again?
Yeah. So minor gives 2 damage, and then you add the weapon damage and you add your size.
Okay, my size is 0. so,
Okay,
so 6.
okay. Cool. And the weapon damage is what?
Oh, sorry. So the weapon damage is 4. And then
Okay.
my size is 0.
And then from the minor success, you get 2.
Yeah, so 6 total.
So 6 total. Okay. Yeah, you huck this javelin into the one that attacked Borba.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
one question. So it says on special abilities, a hit automatically gets 1 level of stunt related to opponent having a javelin sticking into them. What does that mean?
Oh, okay. So stunts are a sort of catch-all for combat activities that are more or less non-damaging.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use these to do things like, pour your flask of oil down the goblin's throat,
Okay.
or swing on the banister and
Yeah.
end up on the other side of the
Okay.
guy. Yeah.
So that's not what I'm going. I'm going for damage here. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to do. No, I'm trying to do lethal damage.
Yeah,
Okay.
kill it.
All right. So do that, and then for what I want to do next, I have a question. So I have an ability called "Do This." And it's make a simple one-word command to the target. Does the target need to have like emotion energy for me to make it do things?
That would seem to be a reasonable assumption.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can't command one goo creature to attack the other goo creature.
So you don't. You're not sure if these creatures have emotion energy or not.
Okay.
It's not guaranteed that they're like within your sense range at the points where you sensed emotion.
Oh, so maybe I should try. Maybe I should try to figure that out first. So I have. Where'd it go? Sense emotion energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to do that to see if then I can do anything with them.
Okay. All right. And what's the activation time for that?
So activation cost is 6.
And activation time?
Time 5.
Mhm.
5.
Okay, cool. 5. So I will put you... Oh, and that'll end you up finishing on the emotion moment, so that's nice.
There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. And that's... So you're going to start that as soon as you finish the javelin.
Yeah.
Great. And you huck the javelin into this creature. You see it, like, sort of splat through it. You're being careful not to hit Borba. This is the point where his head's kind of like stuck in its torso.
Yeah.
You huck the javelin in.
Going for the head.
Yeah. And you kind of hit like partway through the like head-ish area. It's more just like more mounted on top. And it kind of splats the top part of it like just against the back of the wall. It just disappears off the creature's body.
And it doesn't grow back up. It doesn't like blow.
It does not. No. Yeah.
Good to know. Science.
Yeah.
Science. That's stabbing a creature with a javelin is science if you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's conservation of matter. Yeah. Basic science. And Zagla, what are you going to do?
Well, I was going to throw my caltrops to keep them from getting closer, and then we all moved in to get closer to
like shit.
because I'm very slow, but also very fast. So, do I have to maintain the action that I committed to?
So what we can say for this is that you could have sort of realized, let's say, last moment that you were going to be engaged, and so you could have switched at that point.
I like fished them out of my pocket and then went, "Oh dang,
We're doing this.
And I guess I have like a little knife, maybe, that I can stab at them with. And so I'm gonna go stab at one of their legs.
Okay, which one? The one attacking Borba or the one attacking Sam?
Well, Borba's still got head stuck inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm gonna go to the one attacking Sam because I don't want to get under Borba's feet.
Okay, good call.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll put you 2 moments forward for that, and because let's say you started last moment, and that's a melee attack. All right. So that is everyone in that moment. Now we move along to the next moment. So this creature, Sam, that you were attacking and that you just approached Zagla.
Yeah.
This skin reaches sort of a peak of this weird vibration, and suddenly these tendrils, individual tendrils, just snake out in each direction, sort of erupting from its body.
Perfect.
And contacting both of you. They're not pointy in the same way that the ones that hit... I'm sorry, I keep forgetting your name. That hit Borba were, but they sort of stick onto your skin. What are each of your outer defenses?
5.
I don't... Where are they again?
Second page.
0. Big goose egg.
Defense rating.
Oof.
If it tried to like call me names, I'd be like, whatever. It's fine.
2. 2? 5 and 2. Okay. All right. So that is going to be as they stick into you. You actually see. You see, Sam. This tendril sort of one sticks into your shoulder, another kind of gets you around like the base of your stomach, and you feel this like weird cold sensation, and the tentacles begin to like vibrate and suck at you, and you all see this like white scale pattern flowing down them into the body of the creature, where it begins to spread across its own torso. No. The same thing happens to you, Zagla. The tentacles, like, a few stick into you, and this, like, green fur texture kind of spirals along them towards the main body. I want you to take 2 wounds, Sam, and 5 wounds, Zagla, from this.
Okay.
Ow.
Still my skin.
And it will... It moves as if it looks like it's going to attack. All right, and that is that moment. So next moment, we have first Sam resolving, I believe. You have another attack?
No, I'm defensive reaction.
Oh, yes. So roll that.
Jeez, roll. Defensive reaction. I will roll. And then add... I got a 14 plus 1, 15.
15. All right. So that will be a minor success. So get the minor success effect for that.
Okay, so is mine the first one or the second one? Sorry.
The first one.
First one. So I get one token that can be spent as a free action to give a +1 bonus to outer defense against a single physical attack. So I will keep that token, and then I'm just going to attack again.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Melee
I'll
attack.
put you in the emotion moment. And the other person resolving is going to be Zagla, who you are resolving your melee attack right now.
Yes.
So roll it.
Okay. And what do I add to it again?
So add your melee combat talent.
Melee combat talent. Oh. I got a 12.
Excellent. All right. So that will be a minor success.
Yay.
So, yay! So the blade has a base 5 damage. That's 2 from the minor success. And what is your size?
Bitty.
Small.
Small. Size is -3.
Damn.
Okay. So you're going to subtract 3 from that. So you
Okay.
kind of stick this knife in. You see the larger sort of slash that Sam's sword made above, and you're like, yeah! You do this mirroring little slash that goes along the shin-ish area of this creature. It appears hurt, but not devastated by this.
Then I smile up at Sam.
Thumbs up, down. Nice job.
And what do you want to do next?
Are the things still sticking into me?
No, they sort of retracted.
Okay, then I think I'm gonna try and go around them and scout out whatever's next, because I don't think I can do a lot of damage here, but I think I can start looking at our next steps as the group takes care of these terrible creatures.
Okay, so where are you going?
I want to go around behind them and see what's next, basically.
So you're in this sort of cavern area where the tentacles meet the torso. The only real place to go from here would be into the beak or out.
I'm gonna go into the beak.
Right?
I'm absolutely gonna go into the beak.
Once more into the beak.
Yeah. So because you are very fast, I'm going to make that a 2-moment action for you because you can just scamper up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And I am very small, so I will fit into the beak.
Yes. So next moment is Physic, and that is going to be Borba. Actually, this thing is going to attack you first, and then you'll be able to resolve your action. So
Cool.
You pull your head out of its chest. It looks at you with some inscrutable, hard-to-read expression. It sort of whips a piece of its body out to its side, and it comes to, slap at you, and you just sort of, hunch your shoulder up, and it kind of smacks against you ineffectually. Doesn't seem to do any real damage.
Oh, thank God, because I am such a squishy boy.
Rolled pretty bad.
I just picked the bull thinking I picked the bull thinking I'm going to be real tanky. The more I do my stats, this is. I was the run to the litter.
Well, your soak is good.
My soak is good.
Yeah.
So, okay, and I'm next then.
Yeah, you're next.
So as I shrug off this kind of slashing whip effect, I'm gonna basically just slowly back up. Like a bull doesn't really back 4 or 5 paces and almost cartoon run in the spot and then just try and gore straight through this thing again.
Okay, yeah.
And this time we rolled a 9 again. God damn it.
Roll better, Jesus.
All right. So,
Yeah. -2, it's tough.
The same sort of thing. It you squish into it, you feel yourself making an impact, but it's just not getting through whatever sort of buffer of padding this creature has.
The goo buffer.
Yeah, the goo buffer.
Okay. For my next move then, I'm basically, I don't know how I'm going to try and intimidate a goo ball. That's something I might actually get. I might actually do well on a roll and just basically, basically just see if I can intimidated, to start grunting and snarling and kind of becoming a bit more almost feral, more bull-like.
Okay.
Actually try and intimidate the thing, I guess.
I'll put that as a 2-moment action for you.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll take that. Because I have a talent to intimidation. So
Perfect.
that's what I'm going with.
All right. Next moment, first to resolve is going to be this creature, which is going to attack at you, Sam.
Okay.
That is going to be... What is your combat defense?
Right now I think it's 6 because I did the
6?
thing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this creature like stabs this sort of pseudopod spear straight at you. You easily just like parry it to the side with your sword.
My glowing ghost father behind me kind of like pushes me out of the way as the spear comes in.
Okay, and it looks like its skin begins like undulating with that ripply effect again.
No, and my assumption is I use the token that time, so I lose that +1. Correct?
That's to outer defense, actually.
Oh, sorry.
So that would have protected you when it used that effect with the tentacles earlier. Outer defense is against threats like you're hit by a lightning bolt or something. Whereas combat defense is you're trying to dodge a spear.
I'm sorry. My combat defense is a 4. Then.
Same result, so don't worry
perfect,
about it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, no grandfather pushing me.
Yeah. And next we have Zogla and Bill. So Bill, you will go first.
Okay, I'm going to finish casting or creating the shield arm by my hands do that diamondy glowy kind of thing, and I put my hand onto Borba's shoulder. And Borba, you're going to feel this. Well, let me roll first, and I'll tell you exactly what you feel.
Let down, maybe.
You say that now. That's a 17.
Oh,
Hey,
that's a great roll.
moderate success.
So you feel a weird feeling start to come up your arm as your arm mutates in a weird way into a shields-like thing. So because of that, you get a +2 to soak for the next 5 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, I remember there was shield rules. Does that just automatically apply for the soak kind of deal? Or does he have to do something?
No, it just automatically applies to soak. I think it will probably just make sense to say you're basically thickening the bone around his body so that whenever he gets hit, it just like clacks against that.
Wonderful. You also got a -1 to movement.
That's fine. I'll go nowhere.
Okay.
And then for my next move, I'm going to look over, and Sam is doing a wonderful job over there. So I'm going to use some of that leadership ability to try and help him out with attacking.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. And that will be another 3 moments, let's say.
Cool.
And Zogla.
I'm gonna go into the beak.
All right. So you sort of scamper through the feet of these your allies around these creatures.
I
Do you
say
have-
good luck as I go.
Bye.
Have fun. Bye.
Do you have dark vision as a Wellan?
I don't think I do.
Okay. So roll me
I
a
have
perception.
candles.
Just light a candle inside of the beak.
You got this.
Yeah, so roll me a perception check just to
yeah,
see
sorry.
what you...
I was looking for dark vision, and I don't have that. Okay, that is an 11.
Okay. So, yeah, you feel like you scamper a little bit down this sort of... This really... Like, it's good that you're the one that went down here, because this tunnel that you're in now is probably only about 5 or so feet in diameter. You can easily stand up and walk around in it, but everyone else would have been pretty squeezed.
Yeah.
Do you feel it?
Everyone else is big.
Yeah.
That's your specialty.
Our small friend.
Yeah.
the further you sort of scamper down it, the more it transitions from that like squishy, fleshy feel to that brittle, solid feel you felt towards the front. And as you continue a little bit further down it, you feel something overlaying it. You feel this sort of like sticky, goopy, thin layer of something.
Oh.
Yeah. And then it starts to move around your fingers.
Oh, no. Good thing you're all alone.
Yeah, without dark vision.
What would you like to do for your next action?
I have no idea.
Could you run
I
away?
feel like, I feel like I could try and scamper backwards. Can I? Well, this goopy stuff. Is it all over the tunnel? It seems like.
Yes. Like as you reach up and touch other points on the walls around you, you feel that same sort of goop milling around, sort of sliding across the surface.
Oh, gosh, that's so weird.
Very uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable. Is this a moment where I could use Recognize Shadow Power?
You could try, yeah.
Okay, I think I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my next thing. That.
All right. And how many moments is that to activate?
5.
Okay. I'll put you there. All right. Next moment is emotion. So we've got Sam, you are resolving first.
Okay, and I believe it was just attacking.
Yes.
And I get a +2 from Bill. Is that right?
Yes.
I haven't done
Oh,
it.
yeah. He hasn't resolved it yet.
Beans. That's fine.
So not yet.
I got an 18. From
All right.
melee.
Excellent.
Attack.
That will be a moderate success.
Perfect. So weapon 5, size 1. I don't know where to look up moderate success.
So the success, the degrees of success correlated with number is the very simple 2, 5, 11, 23.
Okay.
So you
That whole thing.
take the previous number, double it, and add 1.
Okay.
You know, as you would expect.
Yeah. All right.
So that is going to be 5 for your moderate.
Okay, so then is that 11 damage?
That'll be 11 damage.
Damn! I'm
minus
strong.
whatever its soak is.
At stab. Yeah, I mean, friggin' just get in there.
What a large snake friend you are.
Yeah. I attack where Zalgla attacked previously. I feel like she identified a weak point. Naturally.
Yeah. So yeah, you see this like smaller score on the shin that's beginning to sort of fade away as goop seeps in to fill it. And you're like, nah, not having that.
Nope.
So you just take your thing and you actually just cut straight through most of the trunk of this thing. It sort of like topples over onto itself, like the top half of the body folding down to like fall into the bottom almost. A big portion of it just like splatters against the floor.
Ugh.
And it seems to coalesce and begin to form up and rise again, but there's a lot left. There's a lot less mass there than there was previously.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna attack it again, melee attack.
All right.
I'm gonna keep on hacking, hack away.
Okay. So next we will have Borba.
So I've now got this shield. I was saying I was going to kind of try and make as much noise and like just try to. I have a presence talent, intimidate it. So I'm going to like start banging the shield arm I now have, just to basically either scare it off, distract it, to kind of see if I can, just unsettle this goo monster that I'm engaged with.
All right. So roll the talent.
So it's a presence talent, which is +2, so 12. That's what I rolled.
12? Okay.
Yeah.
So these creatures have a pretty low inner defense, so not too hard to affect them in this way. So you begin like clamoring, making noise, and sort of just letting loose these big roars that sort of echo and fill this weird sort of makeshift cavern where some of the walls are brittle stone that reflects the sound, some of them are damper flesh that absorbs it. And this creature doesn't like run away, but it seems to just sort of pause in what it's doing and like slink back maybe just a little bit.
Huh.
So I'm going to
something. I don't know what I did, but I succeeded.
I'm delaying its action briefly because it is sort of intimidated by you.
Borba, helping out. Finally,
Right.
it's only taken a lot of moments. Okay.
And what's your next action?
It's next action. It's my next action. Buoyed by one success, I'm going to also try and attack again. Why not?
Okay. Great.
You'll roll above a 9
So
next time, I'm sure.
That's going to try and run and gore at it again, basically.
All right. Next is Indira.
Okay. So this is where I was trying to figure out if I was doing sense emotion energy to see what's going on. So the activation cost is 6 for this. Oh, this is what we dealt with earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. 18.
18. So that's a moderate success. So you reach out with your ability. You feel like reaching out to these creatures. You feel inside each of them this like tiny little kernel of emotional energy. And this is, with a moderate success, I'll say this is somewhat familiar to you.
Okay.
This is definitely not a humanoid or even an animal level of emotions. This is more like insectoid.
Interesting.
Like there's just these very basic drives that are pushing this creature, and there's not much else going on
like
there.
Food, fight, like reproduce.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kiss.
Yeah. Food, fight, reproduce.
Yes.
The classic. Yes.
Okay.
And
They are affected by emotion.
yes, they do have a connection to emotion energy.
Wonderful.
That's good.
And also, so you now have 6 fatigue. So all the actions you take from now on until you recover that are going to be at a -2 penalty for the 6 fatigue. So remember that.
Okay.
Same goes for wounds and for fatigue for the rest of you.
Okay.
That sucks.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
It does.
guess I could have just tried it and see
Oh,
what
man,
happened. But
that's brutal.
Yeah.
man, it's so. I feel like I'm like the psychologist of the group. Like so emotionally taxing.
You carry it all on your shoulders, man.
to feel the emotions of others.
Sometimes I feel
And-
too deeply.
So what is your next action going to be?
I would like to still try to do this, and I would like to make the one
Okay.
attack the other one if I can.
That'd be cool.
All right. And what's the activation time?
5.
5. All right. So you're going to be in the spirit moment. And that is the end of that moment. So next comes Shadow, and the person who is resolving there is Bill.
Okay, I'm going to look over at Samantha, seeing that that she's doing a wonderful job. I'm going to go, keep doing what you're doing. It's doing great, doing a good job. To pass that leadership over.
All right. So roll your leadership again.
Yep. I'm also at a -2 because of the fatigue.
Okay.
That is 12.
Okay. So that's a minor success. So that'll be +1.
Okay.
Cool. And then I am going to, in a general state, looking to see how we're doing here. Would we say that we're doing an okay amount of them, that we shouldn't be all too worried, or we're like, we're screwed slightly?
I think looking around, it looks like you can handle these 2 creatures.
Gotcha.
You're not too worried.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you are, because this is all pretty new to you. You're not
Yeah.
much of a fighter in general.
Turns.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't think you'll die.
Okay. That's good. That's a real plus. So I'm going to take my sword and I'm going to go next to Borba, who is relatively close to me anyway, because he was within a yard. And I'm going to attack the creature that was attacking him, because that hasn't taken as much hits.
Okay, great. I'll put you on spirit moment as well. All right. And next up, we're going to start. We have a lot of people in this moment, so we'll start with you, Sam.
Okay. I roll 2d10.
Yeah.
I did 9 plus 1, which is 10 plus... Wait. Oh, plus 5. So 15.
Okay.
To their...
That's a minor success.
Okay. And then my damage is 5 plus my minor success of 1 plus my size of 1.
Minor success is 2.
2. Sorry about that.
Yeah. No, all good.
So that's 8, I believe.
8 damage. Okay. So yeah, you hack into this creature again, and you're just cutting away like more and more of the mass. You see it getting smaller and smaller every time you hit it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not looking very happy about this. Gonna make another attack?
Yep.
Okay.
It's working. I'm doing it.
So this creature is going to do the same thing it did before again, sort of that weird undulation. And it is going to hit you with another minor success. So again, those tentacles kind of plunge into you. You feel that the energy sort of drain out of you. It's almost like if you've donated blood, like that weird cold feeling.
I have
kind of numb.
negative blood, so I have to donate a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. The burden.
The universal giver.
Hey, what are you gonna do?
So that'll be another 2 wounds for you.
Okay, does my previous +1 to outer thing do anything?
What's your outer defense again?
Right now
Remind me?
it's 6.
6?
With a +1 token from my previous whatever.
Actually, yeah, that just makes
perfect,
the difference.
Perfect.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
So,
my
you see-
grandfather comes in and swipes it away.
Yeah. So they do not manage to make purchase, and like those that do find your skin just kind of skid off of your scales.
That's my scales.
Yeah. All right. So this creature is actually going to, seeing the ineffectualness of this attack, start like sinking back, sort of into the pumicy surface of the Marlin.
No.
The other one across the way is going to make one attack at Borba. Again, that's going to be a 12 to hit. What's your combat defense again, Borba?
My combat defense is -5.
Okay, so that'll be a minor success.
I don't think you can miss, Borba. I'm real big and real slow.
Barn door.
I'm so big and so slow. It's so hard to miss me.
So that'll be 5 wounds to you total as it like drives this weird axe appendage into your shoulder.
T1000.
Okay.
Make sure
So
to
5
subtract
additional.
your. Make sure it's subtract.
So 5 total minus soak, yeah?
Yeah, minus soak.
And then minus the shield soak that I gave you as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, which is +2. Oh, I take no damage.
So every attack that connects does at least 1 wound. So you take like a little bit as the impact sort of rocks you, but there's no real harm done.
Okay, so I have 4 wounds then.
And this creature is actually going to do the same thing as its friend and begin to like sink back down into the stone floor, the stony floor. And the last person is going to be Borba. So what are you doing? You're resolving an attack?
So I am resolving an attack. And I think I may have been misadding up. So just to be sure on my to hit, I rolled my melee combat.
Mm-hmm.
Or I take my melee combat modifier, right? And add that.
Mm-hmm.
Do I add something for my weapon then as well?
Only to your actual damage.
Only to damage, okay, that's fine. So I have been rolling correctly then. Okay, not that's the case. So this time it's a 13. Thank God.
All right, that'll hit. Yeah, it's a minor success.
It's a minor success. So minor is 2 damage, correct?
2 damage, yeah.
Plus 3 for my horn damage.
Okay.
Plus 2 for charging.
Okay. Plus your size is your size 0?
Large. So my own size is 3.
Damn.
Okay. So 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3.
Plus 3. So I'm at 10 damage.
Yeah. So
Right.
as this creature begins to like sink into the floor, you're like, no, fuck this. I've had too many advantages with this.
There you go.
And you just like do the like bull pace and just charge it one last time. And as it's sinking, as it's like halfway down into the floor, you just like ram it and splat off like the top half that has yet to sink into the floor.
Headbutt the
Just
ground.
continue on like 4 yards through the other side of it, basically.
Yeah.
It seems like you're bad at hitting, but once you do hit, you connect like a trap.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Big
I get
character.
hit really easy. and then just eventually hit once.
All right. And what are you declaring as your action?
Oh, I might just celebrate. Dance? No, I'll basically turn on the spot and try and chase down the last one's still up, isn't it?
They're both just sinking back into the ground now. So they're both still up technically, but they'll be gone soon.
So yeah, I will be basically trying to gore the other blob, if it's still there come my moment, basically.
Okay, great. All right, I'll put you on 3 moments from now. So yeah, these things are now starting to sink away. It looks like you guys only have a few seconds left to attack them before they disappear. So Zagla, you are up. You were doing something up in the beak there, in the esophagus.
I was, and I am trying to cast or do the recognize shadow power to see if I could figure out what is happening here. I don't know how great that is, but yeah, that's a 12.
Okay, so that's a minor success. So yeah, you feel your ears like do the little like whoop as they grow a little bit. You reach out, especially with the nature of this power you use that's focused on identifying structure in formations of shadow energy rather than just detecting presence. You realize that like the structure of these two creatures that your friends are fighting out there, and that you can also feel sort of all around you inside this creature, is a little familiar. It is kind of like you were feeling before about the sort of accelerated decay, but it seems more purposeful. This seems... it's like a self-replicating, self-propagating pattern of decay. Or, in other words, it is a virus of some sort.
Okay.
The word has fragmented.
Yeah.
Okay, I am going to, with that knowledge, run back out.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll put you another 2 moments for that. And in the next moment, we're going to have Bill and then Indira.
Cool. Can I reinstall the operating system? Because at this point, just get rid of the virus completely. Completely gone.
Factory reset the planet.
Yeah. Get my OS disk out. I'm going to attack the one that Borbo was attacking with a sword here. That is going to be a 13.
Okay. That'll hit.
Cool.
That's
Now this is with a
success.
blade. I did not have the stat in here, so that'll be 2 plus 5 was the weapon damage.
Yeah, 5.
Plus your size.
Plus my size, which is 0.
Okay.
So that'll be 7 altogether.
All right. Yeah, you take a big chunk out of it as it begins to as it continues to sink into the floor.
Cool. I'm going to... we think next round, by the way that we're looking at it, they're going to be gone, right?
Yeah.
For the pacing? Okay.
Yes.
So... I'm going to take out the communicator and try to communicate to Kron, Josier, the enforcer.
You don't have an open line to Josier. You can talk to the hub at camp.
I will try to patch into the hub at camp and inform them of what's going on. I don't know what Zagla knows yet, but I'm going to let them know about the threat.
Okay. All right. I'll put that as a 3-moment action just to talk about that. And last, we have Indira.
Okay, so the 2 blobs are still existent right now.
Yeah, they're almost faded into the ground.
Okay. Can I want to do this command to the one of them that there's more of it. to
Okay.
say attack on the other one.
Okay. Roll it.
Okay. And I know I have to take 2 off. But I have bonus 1, so now I only have to take 1 off.
All right. Oh, you have a... Wait, you have a bonus 1 from what?
Sorry, my bonus to roll for the...
Oh, yes,
this.
yeah. Okay.
So... Not super great. That's an 11.
Including the -1?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. So you get a minor success. You feel as you... What word specifically do you say here?
I think I say attack is what I said. But I guess it's because I can only get 1 word. So is he going to know, like, what I mean? Like the direction of it?
Stabs me.
I guess I could...
Betrayal. There you go.
Yeah. Or does it... Do we want them to be gone? Like, because the other thing I could say is, like, retreat.
We probably want a sample.
Well, if I send the one that's, like, bigger...
Okay.
Like, go away. And then we have only a little bit of the other one. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it seems like they're running away regardless.
Yeah.
So it's
I guess that's true. Or maybe I'll make it come here.
Yeah.
I say come here. Or come.
Okay. Which one are you saying this to?
The weaker one.
The weaker one. Good call.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to trap it in a vial.
Yeah.
The one by Sam, that's going to be. So you yell out this command at it, and you feel, as your power activates, you feel yourself connecting to that little kernel of emotional energy inside this creature.
Blood brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, just because it is so incredibly simple, it feels actually pretty easy to, like, influence this. And it's just like, oh, okay. And it doesn't, like,
You're my
immediately
mom.
pop back up. But it just stops moving.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to scoop it into a vial
Okay.
or something.
I'm probably gonna whack it.
And your next action?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like a melee action.
To scoop.
Yeah, to scoop it.
The scoop action.
All right.
Yeah.
Scoop. Got it. Cool. All right. And this moment, first you are going to go Sam.
So, I see this happening. Obviously, Tim Lanning hears Jennifer's intentions. Like, how much control, and I know when Renee switched from her caltrops, like, do you think it's reasonable that I would see Indira try to capture this? Because I'm getting ready to attack right now.
Yeah.
Which is what I want to do. But I'm just kind of curious how the Beyonder sort of system handles switching gears.
Sure. So you can choose to delay an action indefinitely. You don't have to resolve it because you declared it.
Okay.
If you're worried about whether or not you noticed Indira's like action and her intentions, you can just roll like a perception check for that.
Yeah, I'll do that. 15 for my perception.
Yeah, you notice. You've been working with her for some time. You're pretty in tune with what she's doing.
Perfect. So I would to basically shift my thwack on the one I've been attacking to the one on Borba, if that makes sense.
Okay, sure. Yeah, roll it.
Cool. Ooh, 19 melee.
19. All right.
And then, is that a +2 to damage?
That's a moderate success. That's a +5.
Ooh, so yeah, that's 11 damage.
11 damage. So you pretty much just splatter the rest of like what remains of this thing across the floor. Like you actually take your sword, and as it's trying to sink in, you like skim it across the surface of the ground, and like just peel up all the rest of it that hasn't absorbed it, and like splat against the wall.
Perfect, I love it.
Nice.
Like sparks happen.
Yeah. All right, that one is out of combat. All right, and I think at this point we can drop out of combat because there's only one left. It's at very little health, and it's just kind of chilling.
And it's about to get scooped.
Yeah, it's gonna get scooped real hard.
Hey,
I pop back through the beak.
You're alive.
it's a virus. Grab a sample.
Oh, that's what I was doing.
Brilliant.
Okay. All right. So you grab a sample of this thing. You manage to like like scoop a little bit out with
With a
the help
straw,
of Sam and her. Yeah.
Oh,
Don't eat the virus.
No.
It looks so good though.
You eat the goo.
I'm in the middle of getting the communicator out, and
It's like a
Yeah.
slushy.
Zogla, do you tell us what you found, or start to tell us at least?
Well, I yelled that it was a virus.
Virus. All right, so I'm going to stare directly at Samantha and move the communicator over to Zogla and go,
Why don't you tell home base what you found?
It's a virus.
Okay, you hear this this kind of baritone Welland voice on the other end. Oh, sorry, what's a virus?
The stuff inside the squid.
Wait, you're inside the Marlin? Why are you?
Yes.
How are you inside the Marlin?
Well, I went in through the beak.
Is everyone okay?
Yes, we are best interns.
You hear like a sigh, like. All right, just bring a sample back as soon as you can, and don't get infected.
Roger Dodger.
Okay,
all right, I put the communicator back.
cool. What do
While
you guys
staring
wanna
at Samantha the entire time.
Did you tell them or?
do? And it is around this point you, Zogla, start to notice the goop you were feeling inside the beak starts to like spill forward and fall out of the beak. You see a couple more puddles fall out, and as you look around, you see more sort of like congealing out of the wall, pressing forward towards you, beginning to slide down.
Yeah, we should
Okay,
go.
maybe somehow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go to base camp.
Yeah, let's report back to Sidix and Josier and co.
Okay. Why don't you guys just make me an athletics check? Everyone give me an athletics check just to get yourselves out without running into these guys.
As we leave, would it be possible to possibly, like, I have a flask of oil and some flint and steel. Maybe just, I don't know, burn it down, basically.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have our sample. Yeah,
We have our sample,
exactly.
like.
I have oil too.
Okay, yeah.
I'm a doctor. I'm gonna cure the disease.
Yes.
No better cure
So-
than fire.
So true.
Yeah. So you two both like pour your flask in a big area in the center, light it up, and there's this like little wall of flame that goes up between you and these creatures. You stand admiring your handiwork for a moment, and then you're like, wow, it's really smoky in here. The top is kind of arched over and a little bit contained. So what are everyone's athletics checks?
8.
5.
Ooh.
12.
We're gonna die of smoke inhalation.
14.
There you go. And Bill?
8 for me.
Okay. All right. Big numbers here. So let's say
We're so tired.
you make
we're
it.
tuckered out from all the
Yeah.
punching of goo that we did.
You make it out, each of you, with a few bumps and scrapes. Everyone who rolled under a 10, just take 2 fatigue,
Okay.
as you sort of have to like bust ass to get out of the way of some of these creatures that like pop out of the wall reaching for you. But you do, after a few minutes, emerge panting and relatively safe into the ambient light that suffuses the body of the lung. What do you want to do?
I want to keep pace with Sam if I can, kind of like jog up next to her.
Hey.
What? What?
So, base camp said not to get infected.
Oh, we got stabbed with it. Is that bad or?
I don't know.
What's the worst that can happen? I mean, the sample.
I don't know. That's what I was gonna ask you.
That happened before they told us not to.
Well, we have the sample, so
And the sample that you have has our genes. Would we know that phrase? Where did they figure out the word genes? They have our essence, within
I don't
them,
like
our
wearing
spirit, our energy.
I mean, it's like science things.
Yeah.
When did
I
they,
know
Jacob, where did
science.
they come up with, in our world, where did they come up with the word genes?
Oh,
And
God. Jeez, man. I did not prepare for this.
In our world.
Oh,
Not
in the
beyond
Beyonder
there.
world.
Not beyond our world.
I have no idea about that. Let's see what Wikipedia says.
Gene
I
Wilder
don't-
starred in-
yeah. A while ago, probably. 1800s?
1883, botanist Wilhelm Johansen coined the word gene.
Oh,
There you go.
I remember this.
When does Beyonder take place? Oh, 1882. I invented a word.
In 1905, they coined the word genetics.
Oh, that's
There you
cool.
go. We all learned something.
We all learned
today.
something.
Yeah.
Scientists.
Yeah, it's a good Beyonder game when I learn some real world science.
There you go.
And to throw it right off the rails again, I'm hoofing it next to Borba.
Yeah, I imagine
Okay.
it's kind of like in a little procession, and Indira's got like the sample and is like kind of holding it out in front of her.
It's extremely
Okay.
venoming against the wall and
Yeah,
trying to kiss you or something.
it's so hot.
So hot.
Yeah, you have like little vials you can hold this stuff in, so it's not like squirming against your actual
I'm still scared of it
hands.
though.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
definitely still scared
Yeah.
of it.
And it's still
And you
hot.
can see it is like
It's
moving
so-
around a little
it's not
bit
just
inside the vial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it wasn't tater tots.
So you're all heading back to camp?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you set a pretty brisk pace considering what you've just been through, wanting to get back to relative safety as soon as possible. And you arrive in camp about 10 minutes later, huffing and puffing lightly. The Wellen that you were talking to over the communicator steps out of the main tent to greet you. You know his name is Brajo. He's an Umbrist. He's one of the mid-level
Well, bummer.
researchers.
I should have said Roger Brajo.
What a missed opportunity!
Yeah, forever lost.
If only I'd known this NPC's name.
Jacob clearly said we knew that, so that's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Retcon, I totally said it. I'm that
Yeah.
clever.
and that's probably like the 50th time you've said that, and he's just like, oh god,
Worst interns ever.
I hate these people.
Shut up, Zagla.
Okay, so you connect with him briefly. He takes the sample. He turns to you to sort of begin to say something else, and just then there's this thunderclap. A shockwave of air bursts throughout the entirety of the camp, throughout the assembled tents. You see a couple people sort of step out of various tents. People are standing around working, suddenly look up, and you see, once the dust clears in the middle of the camp, you see Josier standing like stock still, rigid, holding in one arm, cradling Silix, who has one arm sort of bent the wrong way. She looks pale. Her breathing is a little shallow. You see Koth sort of clutching his head, stumble out of the area where they just teleported to, behind one of the tents and out of sight. Silix coughs a little bit and says, "Okay, everyone. So, new things we learned today. There are some creatures down here we did not know of. They are some sort of infection, trying to escape, trying to infect us. Koth said something about it reaching into his head, and I think they're trying to do something with Josier as well. And please, everyone make a perception check right now."
Eat.
Ooh, boy.
Shit. 8. No. 11.
11.
14.
14.
And 8.
Okay. Whoever rolled the 14s, that was Indira and who? Indira and Bill?
Borba.
Oh, Indira and Borba. Okay. So you each see as Silix is saying this, Josier, his one hand sort of like shaking slightly, reaches down to his belt, pulls out a dagger. You can see he's got this like weird combination of like this look of utmost intensity on his face, but also it's this like 1,000-yard stare, like he's just staring daggers at the horizon. The knife, he like reaches it up You see it pressing gently
No.
into his throat.
No.
You see like one drop of blood begin to well out, and then he just goes limp. He drops the knife. Silix continues speaking, has been continuing. We need to get out. We need to get to the sphere. And she sort of stops speaking. It looks like she's choking. She begins clawing at her throat, and she looks up at Josier. And you all notice now that he is crying those same scarlet tears he was crying before. Her neck just extends out of her body with this strained, gurgling sound, and then crack, crack, crack. Just breaks. She falls completely limp. Josier just lets her body drop to the ground, and then he looks up at all of you. So, this last section is going to be a little bit more cinematic than the rest of it. It's kind of a roller coaster ride to the end. So
Okay.
I hope you'll all bear with me through this. So, first, I want everyone to make an athletics check.
Oh god.
Okay.
And we still have our
Oh my
like
God.
fatigue minuses and stuff, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
16.
16?
3.
Or 17. 17.
16. 16 for Borba, 17 for Sam, 3 for Bill, and
I think mine is supposed to be 9 right now.
13 for Zagla.
okay. So Indira and Bill are a little bit slow. The rest of you, with the sort of adrenaline pumping through you, manage to grab them. And as Josier looks up at the group of you and begins again crying those tears and just points his hand out, drag them out of the way. He clenches his fist and does this downward gesture, and this about 10-foot diameter circle just shears into the floor about a foot or so down. Everyone who's caught in it, you see them compressed into the ground. You hear the sound, the people who are unlucky enough to be on the edge, you hear the sound of bones snapping as parts of them are pushed downward in. And water immediately begins rushing to fill this space.
Wait, water?
You all,
Yeah.
out of the floor, just into the little stone basin. You all manage to jump out of the way just in time behind one of the tents. The sphere, which Silix was directing you to, is about 50 yards away from camp. And also, I want everyone to make a perception check right now.
-1.
9.
I'm rolling so bad.
Oh god.
4.
19.
19.
God.
10.
Someone see something.
Okay, so Zagla, in the midst of all this, your large Wellan ears perk up, and you swear you hear in the distance the sound of rushing water.
Oh no. Gotta go.
So, you all begin to make your way around towards the sort of area where around the side of this tent out of Josier's field of vision towards where the sphere is. And as you're walking, pseudo-stealthily, you suddenly see Koth round the corner.
Yeah.
I want everyone to roll and add your inner defense.
Good boy.
This is the only thing that's good.
Hey, we were having such a fun time before. And
I know. I felt really bad for you today. I really did.
15.
15?
10.
13.
Ooh.
Okay, so everyone except Zagla, you see Koth lurch forward, raise his head from his hands. He looks into your eyes and says, "I'm sorry." But you all sort of close your minds. You steel yourselves against whatever he is trying to send towards you, and you just close your eyes and look away. Zagla, you've been distracted by hearing this water, and you just look directly into his eyes.
Oh no!
And everything drops away. You are not Zagla anymore. You are floating in the midst of this infinite black void. You feel years and eons pass as matter slowly accrues around you. Creatures begin crawling on your surface. You feel something burrow deep inside you, straining to get out. You feel it over millennia building and growing until finally it manifests in a brief span of vision where you see Josier and Koth and Silix and some of the other members of the group staring into you, and suddenly you leap towards them. Take 5 fatigue and gain a proficiency in Insight Insanity.
Is that good?
Okay.
You were mentioning you read a lot of Lovecraft before. I'm seeing
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
As a predominantly Call of Cthulhu podcast, a lot of this is getting real familiar real quick.
Just a bunch of nope.
Yeah.
A lot of note.
As a veteran of 4 deaths in the show. Familiar.
So you guys push past him, sort of dragging Zagla. Zagla, you very rapidly and harshly come back to reality, and there's a couple seconds where you have no idea who you are or who these people around you are. You're like,
Can I throw
What is
Zagla,
that?
over my shoulder like a sack of potatoes?
Yes.
you head towards the sphere. You see a whole tide of people heading in the same direction. They're running up to the sphere, beating their hands against it. It is still sealed closed. You're about 25 yards away now. What do you want to do?
I look at Bill and I'm like, call them, tell them to open. Can anyone open it inside?
Can I use a talent here? I have a perception talent, even though it's a -1 roll, of spotting people in the crowd. Like, was there an obvious captain other than Skrillex, like, navigating the sphere that can help us or anything?
So the big senior members were Silix, Josier, and Koth. And
Cool.
so the last time you saw the person controlling it, it was Silix.
Six, okay. I'm gonna keep running towards it, I guess.
Yeah. I
Okay.
guess our communication was not inside the sphere, right?
What do you mean?
Or like long distance communicator thingy.
No, those were different than like anything used to control the sphere
Yeah.
or anything related to the sphere. So anyone can make a scholarship check if you want.
Oh,
Okay.
I can do that. Well,
Am I present enough to make a
not
scholarship
bad.
check?
Never mind, I forgot.
Yes, at this point you're sort of jostled back to reality.
Okay.
Oh, hey, science!
I'm fine.
17, I got.
8 for
17.
me.
I guess I might as well roll.
Might as well roll.
14.
I didn't roll bad. Got an 8.
Fun to roll.
Okay. So Borba and Zagla, you both remember that Silix was using a small white stone to control
Oh, yeah.
the sphere. She was whispering into it, giving it commands. You turn around and you see this mist rising in the distance. And you can all now hear the rushing of water.
Water!
Where's Silix now?
Big,
I'm sorry.
big water.
We need to
Silix
find-
is lying in the
Okay.
center of camp next to Josier.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, look, guys, we need to find the white stone. It's how Silix was controlling the sphere, the diving bell thing. We need to try and contact base camp, surface camp, whatever we're calling.
You got it. I cast Fast Feet on myself.
Nice.
All right. Roll it.
You got it. That's 9.
Sorry,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
a great sound to hear, man.
Oh, I'm sorry,
I don't
man.
think you'll have an ability of fast feet at all. You just talk a really good game.
Can I cast Adrenaline
Yeah.
Rush on Bill?
Yeah.
No shit. That's 9.
Oh man.
7-1
I'm
plus
sorry, guys.
Can
Yeah. Okay. So you know what? In Beyonder, we have these things called surges, which you earn at the end of every session, which basically you can use to give yourself a +2. Considering the circumstances and the amount of adrenaline, I'll give each of you guys a surge to use for this encounter.
Perfect.
Oh, look at that. I rolled an 11.
I
Oh my gosh!
I also
All right.
have a question. I have a vigor potion, which sounds like it's really good, but I don't fully understand what it does. Is that something I can use in these situations? Or is that only for opposed rolls?
So vigor potions basically remove fatigue.
Okay.
But then you'll get more fatigue later. So this could be a good situation to use it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so it's like a caffeine
Yeah.
dump that you can get crashed in.
Yeah, exactly.
Stimulant.
So since I did the 11, Samantha, were you still doing the adrenaline rush?
Yes, I am, because this gives you a plus whatever to any checks made by any athletics talents. So
Oh, good. I need those.
Yeah. So
Can
is that a plus
Can
3?
I also jump over from Sam's shoulders to Bill's shoulders?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, and I'm going to break, and my foot kind of grinds the ground a bit, and I'm going to jet back towards the lovingly called Skrillex's body.
All right. So, does anybody else want to do anything to assist?
I do when we're closer.
Okay, excellent. So you began heading pell-mell towards Silix and Josier. You're trying to sort of stay out of his field of vision. You can see right now he's growing more of those ribbons out of his hands, and he's just holding some of the other people up in the air, just kind of like squeezing at them. The same sort of impassive, stony look on his face. You manage to reach Silix's body without him seeming to notice, although he's just a few feet away from you.
Not here the second we are 15 yards away.
Perfect.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Roll it.
Okay. That's a 19.
Oh, nice.
Oh, hell yeah.
Perfect.
And what is this? What is the effect exactly?
So, it is that I'm using it on Josier, and that person, that target, gets a minus to all checks involving noticing someone
Okay.
Perfect.
or something.
All right. Yeah. So you sort of, as you approach Josier, you're sort of just clinging onto Bill's shoulders, like trying to steady yourself as he charges forward. You reach out and you can feel your sort of energies reach into Josier's mind. And you've practiced this on many people in many circumstances, because that's part of what you do when you're learning in the guild. When you reach into Josier's mind, it is like a steel lockbox. It is so difficult to affect anything going on inside him, but you manage to sort of focus and channel the energy and seep in through a few cracks and just sort of pick apart the areas that would locate either of you two. And as you sort of run up to Silix's body, he actually turns and his gaze passes just right over the two of you. Doesn't take any notice of you.
Oh, awesome.
For a flavor aspect, by the way, when I'm running, if I can have that Tron light bike kind of thing going behind me as I'm going.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. My ears are flapping.
So as soon as we get there, I skid to a halt, and I want to just go right through his stuff, trying to get the item he had.
Okay, so yeah, you find it pretty easily. There's just a pouch on her waist that has this small white stone inside it.
I actively say yoink, and I grab it and I run back.
Okay. You run and you manage to, with the adrenaline and with the fast feet, you just are passing the people next to you that are sort of running from Josier. You, after a surprisingly short amount of time, pull up right in front of this smooth white sphere. What do you do?
I got it. Who knows how to use this?
And I put it out into the middle of everybody.
Talk to it.
I mean, I think you just talk to it, right? Just like our other ones.
Talk to it. Someone do something. I'm tired.
So as you say this, you feel another set of limbs on your body as Brajo just scampers up your body, jumps onto your arm, and perches his head above the stone and says, "Open." That same little scene appears in the middle of the sphere, and the doors quietly slide open. People begin to pile inside. As you rush in, you look back and you see now very clearly not just the mist, but you see this tide of water rushing towards you. The whole back half of the lung seems to have collapsed and is only now this on-rushing torrent of water. You see a smaller, like older dwarf woman named Vath and a Kamari man named Elmni, who you're like passingly familiar with. They're both sort of like running away from Josier. It doesn't look like they're going to make it before the water hits. What are you going to do?
Cool.
Is that stuff still active on me, or am I like done with those abilities?
Which abilities?
The actually, the fast feet only gave me like 1 token, so I would assume it's gone. I'm huffing and puffing. I'm exhausted.
Okay.
So
I don't know if I can do anything.
I'm gonna try and just basically run out there and help them, because they're not gonna make it, but if we can run out, because they're older, you're saying it's an older dwarf lady. So is it more that they're not moving as fast as everyone else? Like, have we chance out running this water?
Okay.
The older woman is just a little slower, and the Kamari man seems to have suffered some sort of injury on his leg, probably from Josier, and he's like limping a little bit.
Bill, I reckon we can grab these guys and, well, you're right, maybe not the most athletic actually, but we can grab these guys and pull them in. We need to help these colleagues.
All right.
I'm gonna try and run out there and or Samantha, I'm gonna try and run out and basically just run, dip a shoulder, put the dwarven lady on my shoulder and turn and book it back if I can.
Is everyone else in the sphere?
Everyone else who is like living, it seems like there are a couple people back at the camp, but it doesn't look like they're really in any state to get away.
It would be far too risky. Yeah, I would probably hesitate, and then once I see Borba go help, I will run after as well.
I lean over Brajo's shoulder and yell at the little white ball, "Forward!"
All right. And as you do this, as each of you leap out of the sphere, you give this extra little push as it just like begins to move forward. You each grab the 2 people coming onward, and this is a lot easier now that the sphere is moving. Just kind of lever them back inside, and they're sort of picked up by it like a ski lift. It just kind of sweeps under you and knocks you back inside it. As you give,
I shout, "Scoop!"
As you say up, it begins to rise, and you're now sort of looking down on the site of the camp, and you see below you, maybe 20 feet, Josier just slowly turn and look up at you. And his eyes begin to leak that red again. He raises his finger, and just as he points it at you, he clutches his head, kind of falling to one knee, and you see Koth stumble out from behind one of the tents, sort of bearing down on him. He just falls to his knees next to Josier, puts his hands on the Kron's shoulders, just shoves them both to the ground, and the water just washes over them. Brajo leans over into the stone and yells, "Emergency!" The doors slam shut, and all of you feel this fishhook feeling in your stomach as you're all slammed against the bottom of the sphere as it rockets upward. All you hear is the sound of the breathing and some of the pained moaning of your friends around you. There is no light. It's just sort of this infinite blackness where you're all left with your own thoughts churning on themselves, and it could be anywhere from a minute to an hour. It's not clear how time is passing right now.
Yeah.
And then eventually the feeling of being crushed against the bottom of the sphere kind of stops. You begin to feel your acceleration slow, and then that little seam appears again, the doors open, and you smell brine. You hear the sound of the waves crashing against the shore. Sunlight pours in. You see a white rug before you, laid out, heading straight towards a giant white tent on the beach that had not been there the last time you were here, just a couple hours ago now. there are people dressed in like full body white suits on either side of this little path, gesturing you into the tent. And as you're pulled out and sort of hustled along it, you look back over your shoulders and you see an enormous tidal wave, maybe 200 feet high, sweeping towards the beach. You see a line of evokers on the sand, all doing a synchronized power activation together. It looks like they're trying to diffuse the energy of the wave. You're shoved into the tent. Something is zipped shut behind you, and then there's nothing. It's just the soft light of the tent and just being there with your comrades. After maybe an hour or so of waiting, the tent unzips, and Heola comes in. You know this person as Lihanu, the half-lit moon. They are a relative higher up in the guilds. They have equal barriers in shadow and in spirit, and they have sort of a mastery of the ethereal energies in general. They approach you, sort of look you up and down impassively. The lung carried an infection that has now spread to the continent. Only those who are infected may be used to track it down and destroy it.
Hey.
We have much to do.
They stabbed us.
I have a sample.
Yeah, we have a sample.
They like reach forward and like pull out this like small white kerchief and take the sample, put it into a pocket. Well done. Your work begins tomorrow.
Nice.
And they just turn and leave. And that's the end.
First day! What a
Wow.
day!
Wow. Internship. Woo.
Science is fun.
Oh.
Thanks for playing, guys. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks for running it, man. Very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't realize that Silix or Josier was trying to kill himself until later.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, yikes.
Yeah.
That was
Sneaks up on you.
Yeah, I didn't expect the fun science
I know.
RPG to get so dark.
I know.
yeah.
It's it's a good point. It's kind of unexpected, but we very much go into story and character, and that's kind of our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So we like to start off emphatically.
Yeah, and again, just I don't know a lot about Star Trek, but just peering over Jennifer's shoulder every now and again, people get fucked up.
Oh, look, that's why like the term red shirts exist.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jacob, for running us. This was super fun. I loved a lot of the concepts and look forward to stealing them and our current
Damn it.
Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and then playing more. Can you tell us everything that you want us to know about Beyonder?
Yes. So Beyonder is a great game. So basically the whole story of the game is my dad started working on this when he was in college. If it seems like there's this very fleshed out, realized world, it's because he's been working on building it since the 70s. So it's been around, like this world has been around as long as the Forgotten Realms has. It just developed with a smaller team. So it's just a lot of fun to be able to share it with you guys, with everybody else. We have 2 books. We have a website that's awesome. You can find us on Facebook at Beyonder RPG. You can find us on Twitter at FNB Games. And you can find me at Twitter now, after like yesterday, at Jacob_McIntyre_, and it's McIntyre like Reba.
Okay.
And I tweet about Beyonder stuff, or I will once I tweet about anything pretty often.
Hey.
Speaking of getting the infection, welcome to Twitter. Yeah, that was one of the things that we thought was so cool, other than the races, was like, oh yeah, it's this game that we invented in my family, and then we all played it together. But Owen, please tell us everything about yourself and where to find you online and so forth. Not everything about yourself, obviously, but plug.
So guys, I'm Owen from How We Roll Podcast. You can find us anywhere you get podcasts effectively, or you can check us out at howwerollpodcast.com. Or Joe, the DM of our show, runs the Twitter at HWR Podcast. And then lastly, myself on Twitter is How We Roll Owen. And Owen is spelled EOGHAN.
Perfect.
just to keep you on your toes.
Thank you. You got to. Renee, how about yourself? Please plug everything and anything you can.
Thank you. Hi, I am Renee Rhodes. I DM for Fate and the Fable Maidens, which is a very G-rated podcast, so there are no breaking necks or anything. No. I love doing this and branching out. I love family-friendly content, but like, hey, it's fun to come and have like a really stressful cinematic PG-13 and up adventure. And yeah, so that's at Fate FM Cast across social media or at fatefmcast.com. We play D&D and love it. I also stream a lot of places. You can find me on Nerd Immersion and Scraticus Academy regularly, and I am working on an audio drama that will release later in 2019 called Edenfall. I'm really looking forward to it. You can find it on Twitter at EdenfallCast, and you can find me on Twitter at RayDeanneR.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much. And Josh, please plug anything and everything you would like to.
You got it. I'm Josh Perot. I was the DM for Taking Initiative, an actual Play 5e podcast, but not anymore as of yesterday. Yesterday, we released Season 2, or at least the first episode of which, where we dipped into Storm King's Thunder. I am playing as a player this time around, and Bucky is our DM. So you can find me playing a human fighter named Mortimer Greaves over at Taking Initiative. That's at TI_pod, or you can go to takinginitiativepodcast.com for all the links and cast and crew and all that kind of information. If you'd like to find me on Twitter, it's at Zyroxis the Beard. That's at XIROXIS the Beard. I'm also one of the people behind the podcast of series and such. So if you'd like to follow me for any information that may come up in the future for more events, which I would love to know about, that will come from there as well.
Cool.
That's me.
And you can find Jennifer and I online at Tim Lanning and
At Jennifer Cheek.
And you can find our main podcast at D&D Podcast on Twitter. We are looking forward to doing more things like this. Jacob, yet again, thank you for being my first interview back in the day, and then being the first guinea pig for the supergroup concept we're running. Thank you again so much. Let's give
My absolute pleasure.
Yay!
Yeah, it was great fun.
Thank you for having us in your super group.
Yeah, thanks.
and we hope to do other weird things like this in the future, just again because Jennifer and I and some of the other crew actually don't have that deep of a well of
mostly just
systems.
D&D, a little bit of Shadowrun back in the
Little
day.
Fate,
and
little...
I never even played Fate.
Oh, you didn't play Fate?
No, I didn't do it. So yeah, we'll test things out.
Well, thanks again, everyone.
Yeah.
And keep it dicey? I don't know what to say.
Yeah, sure.
We're stopping. It's done. It's over.